That'll be interesting to see, because I know the pick'ems probably from the challenger stage wouldn't grade either.
No, there were definitely some interesting upsets.
What
there.
was it Sean tweeted out? They're about to be graded on that Physics 101 curve.
It's good stuff.
That's banter, isn't it? That's educated banter.
I like it. Neo already grenaded down, about half health, maybe some shots to follow it up, and in fact he's going to go down to the boost. They will get the return though, so not quite getting caught. Maybe could have been a bit more prepared. Now what can they do here? 4 versus 4, and looks like Valina and Quick actually want to reboost here. Are they going to reboost for the retake? That would be interesting.
Virtus.Pro is going to be so frustrated when this flank comes in. He should be able to get at least one. They haven't turned around yet. Oh, Snacks. He can hear all this running, but he can't call it out quick enough. There's the peak. He gets traded off into a 2-on-3. Virtus.Pro with a huge advantage. And there's a follow-up flank coming, actually. Snacks aware, yes, but he gets taken down.
Definitely saw it coming now. Valina and Jimka left trying to see if they can just crush Virtus.Pro here. 2-on-2. The bomb only just down. There's Jimka with the one shot, and now Pasha in the corner all alone, getting shot at from 2 different angles, and he gets dropped by Jimka, and that's it. 16-3 here as Virtus.Pro get taken down by QB Fire. Who would have thought?
Crazy, crazy start to this event. Virtus.Pro gets absolutely stunned, as well as everyone tuning in, I think. That is a great win for QB Fire, a team who didn't have to get through the most stout of opponents in the challenger stage to qualify to this level of the major. But either way, this is a good way to get started. They're obviously hyped up. I'm sure the desk is hyped up. We're going to send it to a break, and when we come back, we'll hear from them.
Watch Csgo ELEAGUE on sliver.tv. Win tons of free prizes. In the sights! Thousands of winners every match.
Sliver.tv.
Sliver TV.
Sliver.tv.
Oh my god.
ELEAGUE crates, stickers, knives, skins, and more. 100% free to play. Win.sliver.tv.
Yeah, head on over to win.sliver.tv to watch CSGO and win free prizes. Definitely check that out during one of the breaks. But for now, we've got a very surprised Yanko and nothing on the desk. I'm surprised too. Nobody saw this one coming. I mean, even in your wildest dreams, maybe you think QB Fire can sneak a win, some exceptional set of circumstances. To dominate Virtus.Pro, it's mind-blowing.
Absolutely. I think that's the... Even if we have doubts with VP and their level of play, it's like against a weak opponent like QBF, you think surely they have what it takes to take the win here, but QBF played really, really well. We talked about it in the pregame about their ways in, or you have to be aggressive from the start, try to find those fights, those duels, and they managed to do exactly that.
It started reminding me of the old what was it, Kinguin versus VP back at DreamHack Valencia.
Yeah, the 16-0, yeah.
You know, what kind of epitomized it to me and Yanko were sitting there watching, it was like 5-0 or something, and at A, two QBF guys just walk out A main, Neo's at Fork, or in A site, and Bialy's at Fork, which he's not usually there. And one of the A main guys just kind of walks out all the way to the bomb site in a 3 versus 5, takes down Neo, and then the A main guy gets Bialy at Fork, and it just seemed, I don't know if they were scared to lose, but more than confident in winning. So.
Well, I mean, you can see it there. I don't even know how you begin to analyze what we're on with Virtus.Pro. Fewest rounds won in the last 14 maps. Not like they've had a particularly great run.
Just, you know, abysmal individually. Jordan pointed out the one round for Bialy. There was another one which was a reset round where QBF just pop flashed to A main. It was basically an A rush, and he had the angle on the guy, and he just doesn't win the fight.
Pasha
you know.
gets one, they go 1 for 3.
Yeah, we had that mad round on B where everyone was whiffing. You know, like both Taz and Bialy had a very poor game, and they're the anchors on their respective bomb side. So if they have a poor game, that means the other team is getting easy entries, and it makes it much more difficult for their teammates to find a way back into the round that, you know, retake and save it from there.
So you saw it there with the standings. We've had 2 matches and 2 upset wins. The underdog coming out on top both times. Now we're going to have Big versus Liquid. But before we do that, here's a closer look at one of the legendary in-game leaders in the game, Gambit.
This kind of place was the foundation of Gambit, I would say. Kind of the starting of my competitive career. When I was start playing soccer, I was seeing myself as a normal player. But after a few years, I was leading the team.
I learned how to handle certain problems in a team. I think it's very important to learn that as you are young, because then it follows you. Being the in-game leader means a lot for me. I can be the guy to explain to my guys, to my team, what you need to have to being a champion. A lot of young players come to me and ask for advice. It just shows me that everyone knows how important the in-game leader is. I'm very happy to be the guy who they look up to. I love Frankfurt because, first of all, I grew up there and have a lot of cool memories. And also, I think the city is really beautiful. That's a really special place for me. I started my Counter-Strike career, or the first steps were there.
Now we go to the place where I started to play Counter-Strike. It was an internet cafe, but now it is a barbershop. The internet cafes are closed, but doesn't make me feel really old. It just makes me feel like I was there from the start of the game.
So.
Seiten kürzer ein bisschen, vielleicht ein bisschen kürzer. Hier, siehst du, das ist ein bisschen zu lang hier. Back in the day, it was not like I had a big dream or so to become a pro player. So I was just like having fun playing. I started to figure out that I was not bad, but I wasn't good also. I knew if I would work hard, I would be good. Then I started to come more often here. So, and I was learning and I was getting better and better. Dankeschön, vielen Dank.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Being back in Frankfurt, my whole family, friends are coming over. We have good family dinners.
Let's go.
If I'm back home, I'm obviously not got B. I'm every time party, and it's just like all about being yourself.
He was always really ambitious. When we were little, he was like 3 years old, and because my bicycle was bigger, so I was faster, of course. But he was so ambitious. He wanted to be the first.
So, Anne, dachtest du, dass ich meine ganze Zeit mit Counter-Strike verschwendet habe, oder dachtest du, dass ich da schon was Ordentliches mache?
Nein, Anfang, wo du angefangen hast, habe ich mir gedacht, das machst du nur aus Spaß.
Ähnlich wie Papa also, ne?
Ja, genau. Aber dann später habe ich bemerkt, du bist das sehr intelligent und sehr klug und ehrgeizig. Machst du das ganz toll.
Hast du schon Vertrauen gehabt dann, ne?
Ganz voll.
It makes me obviously very happy that they are proud and they are really supportive. They became very big fans of Big.
So, was sind jetzt eure nächsten Ziele?
Ja, das nächste große Turnier ist halt das Major.
Ja.
Ja, das ist auf jeden Fall so das wichtigste Turnier für uns.
Qualifying for this major meant that we needed to be legends. Every opponent got stronger and stronger and stronger. Yeah, in the end, we needed to play against the strongest opponent, SK. I felt like I have the game plan to beat them.
This is amazing. 3-0. bhop, amazing the pip.
And yeah, after beating them, it was just like the best feeling. I know we can surprise again. I know we can be a better team than we were 5 months ago. We will be really ready and being the best team what we can be.
So there you have it, God B. I actually spent some time living with God B out in Vegas, if you can believe this. And I've been around a lot of players in my time as a manager and a coach, and I've never seen anybody work as hard as him. I'm going to be completely real with you. No matter what the time of day was, he'd be sat down just on a map by himself, jumping around, trying to figure out the game on such a deep level. And Jordan, you know him from 1.6 way back. He's considered by pros that played 1.6 one of the smartest in-game leaders that ever existed.
Yeah, his Mousesports team at 1.6 was, you know, with CYX on the roster, and then were considered maybe the #1 team in the world for a couple months there.
Yep.
And then going into Go, one of the coolest things about Big is they're truly kind of have that family feel. And Gob is over there. Literally, I've seen some footage from their boot camps where he kind of just breaks down every aspect of play for them, from communication to how they're talking to each other. And you know, and I hope they can get a little bit more momentum, since we haven't seen much since Krakow. You know, I think they won some online qualifier versus Navi. But outside that, it's a lot of red on their match.
Yeah, and I was going to say, Yanko, you know, they haven't seemed to have moved on from that. A lot of people were doubting what they achieved in Krakow, saying, look, they played 3 maps. You know, it was the same map every time. Is that a bit unfair?
I mean, unfair to an extent, but it's also a fact, right? After that, Big has been pretty disappointing in their performances. I think obviously they're going to be disappointed in themselves more than anything else. I think, though, on the other side of things, their preparation is unparalleled. You know, how much work not just got Biba, but all of them as a team put together into, you know, figuring out new things. We always see something new on maps from Big because of all the time they put in. So I think here at the Major, they're looking to redeem themselves basically for their last 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, so they're going to be up against Liquid today, and of course the big talking point for Liquid, Jordan, has been what can they do, how far can they go with the stand-in, which you can see we're not displaying here on this graphic.
Well,
that still will actually be Zeus.
Lucas is just a nice guy. They wanted to throw him back up on the
Definitely
screen.
deserves a shout-out.
You know, it is going to be interesting, and I definitely think Big is going to be aware, and they're probably looking at you know, the map they're playing and saying, hey, where does Zeus play? That's definitely a factor here. But to our surprise, when I watched Zeus play in the qualifier last week, he was actually playing pretty well. And I think what it has done, it has allowed Nitro to turn on a bit, because I don't think he feels so confined to one thing. ELEAGUE is always down for whatever, but Nitro specifically, being able to kind of blow up, has been a big help for them.
Yeah, I was going to say, Nitro's been one of the best players we've had at the majors so far, and anything that Zeus is sort of taking back, Nitro is definitely stepping up and kind of standing in for him.
Oh, absolutely, and tenfold, I think you can say. He's not only, you know, had a great tournament in terms of, you know, kill statistics and so forth, he's also had a lot of impact. I mean, when you look towards their last game as well, he was winning the crucial rounds against Avangard for his team. So Nitro definitely the MVP for Liquid, and I think they've proven that even with the stand-in, there's still enough firepower in that team to get them through some of these games.
Now, this is where it gets interesting. So we talked about guys.
Yeah, I think it makes it great for Big, because the main way for Liquid to win games is mostly relying on individual skill, right, on the firepower, and Inferno is a map where you can really limit that individual firepower with good use of utility, and if there's something Big is good at, it's at using their utility, having strategies and so forth. Yeah. So I think this is a great map for Big, and I have them as taking this one.
Your reaction, Jordan?
Yeah, I actually voted for Big from the get-go as my prediction, and I'm going to hold on to that, especially because on Inferno, like Yanko said, there's a lot of chance to win with simple strats and literally executions.
And also, as a former Cloud9 player, just can't cheer for Liquid.
Yeah, you know, there's nothing there. No, but yeah, if you're a spectator and you're going to watch this game, look out for the ways that Big, even if they give the team B control, I remember they had some really creative retakes from the bottom B smoke, even through the top mid smoke. They have really creative execs behind a smoke at the porch side of the A bomb site. So I think this map favors Big because they have so many strats that no matter how prepared you are for them, can simply overwhelm you.
Got B bringing that playbook. So 2 for Big. It's definitely going to be a big game, and we're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to get into the action between Team Liquid and Big. We will see you in a few moments.
Welcome, ladies and gents. It is the Boost Mobile casting desk. I'm DDK and I'm joined by James Bardolph. What the hell are you doing, James? Why are you wearing a wetsuit?
This is what happens when you spell my name wrong on the talent poster. This is what happens. My face hurts and I can't breathe, Dan. So let's make this snappy.
You sound very nasally, James. You're having
I can't actually breathe through my nose right now. It's all blocked off.
Seems like you've gone to a lot of effort out of spite.
This is a protest. This is a protest. I will not have my name spelled as James Randolph in a talent announcement. I'm not having that. This is my protest. I'm suffering very greatly.
Well, we are going to be watching Big versus Team Liquid on Inferno. Where is your prediction at, James?
I think I went for Liquid. I can't actually remember. It's hard.
Remember.
I don't know if how much oxygen is in my brain right now. It's a lot easier to wear this once you're underwater, but when you're above water, it is very, very difficult indeed. Even my mouth keeps touching my microphone. I think I picked Liquid for this. I don't think it's an easy pick. I think even though Zeus is playing for Liquid, I think it's harder to exploit him than it was in previous instances. Why did I do this? And I think that Liquid have been playing so strong otherwise that I still favour Liquid even though they have those issues.
I can't take you seriously.
Why not,
right
Dan?
now.
Come on. Where's the respect?
Oh my god.
Where's the respect?
I do respect the commitment to actually just go through this. You've been threatening to do this for like, what, 2 years or something, and now you pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
And now you're full of regret.
Go as far as to say a fantasy, but it has been something I wanted to do. But you know, there was just too much disrespect in the E-League Photoshop department, and so I had no choice but to do this.
All right, well, we are soon going to be off into the match, and I have to say the stuff that Jordan and Yanko said about Big and their strategies, their tactical approach, it's making me fear for my prediction, which was Team Liquid. And honestly, if you guys missed it at the Challenger stage, Liquid barely qualified. They had a very thrilling overtime match to make the qualification against the Vanguard, the team from Kazakhstan, the Kazakhstani sensation. And very sad to see them go, but Liquid, they will carry the mantle forwards here. In Inferno, their first test against the Germans, who previously had definitely surprised many with their capabilities. So Liquid will be going in with, I imagine, as much research as they can, as well as also the highest degree of preparedness. And we'll see how this kicks off now as we're into the pistol. And Big will make their way up second mid. Just looking for some information, keeping things fairly slow to begin with.
Speaking of doing their research, Liquid start with 4 people in the A site, so it seems they might have a read on what Big are up to here. ELEAGUE towards Library, JDM in the site, Zeus and Twist to play Crossfire in the pit, so it seems there's a lot of expectation as to what Big want to do in this round. At present, Nex is just keeping an eye on any flank, but they're slowly edging towards A, and that doesn't bode well for Big in the very first round if they're being read already. Look how prepared Liquid are for this. The numbers are there, but can they deliver?
Yeah, as long as we've been watching the demos, oh my god, it's working out so wonderfully well. Perfect positions. Okay, they must have watched some demos, indeed. That is beautiful to see, isn't it? That is quite some preparedness from Team Liquid. I love it. I love how committed they were to it. They didn't have anybody spotting for information, nothing. They just sat 4 on the site. And for those of you that don't know as well, the harder site to retake on this map is probably B in most instances, once it's locked out by 5 players. So, big risk, but they were rewarded. What else have Liquid got to show us?
Big have opted for the Force Spy. Ligia has got a lot of grenades, so you know we saw lots of good things from Big at the previous major on Inferno, but that time has come and gone, and you can't expect a repeat performance. And of course, it's a lot of information for other teams to process, and that pistol round tells us that Liquid have definitely done that. And Liquid have always been one of the forward-thinking teams in pistol rounds. They were one of the first to abandon the A site and just have one guy towards the car on cash, for example. But here we are. Are they prepared for the Force Spy from Big? Trying to glean information at the moment. Q's been looking over towards Banana, but now he comes to join his team in this rotation towards the A site. JDM hiding behind the pillar. Good for 2 kills. Twist will look to clean up the rest of it. There it is. So only 1 player lost. He'll pick up the FAMAS. And he won't pick up the FAMAS, actually. So that is maybe some money wasted, but more money to be made with the UMP.
That was a really nice, clean round from Team Liquid. Sometimes the force buyers are very scary to deal with, but nothing really went awry for them. Now they only have Glocks to worry about. This got B with the P250, but everybody else is on the default stock pistol of the terrorist side. And you can't really expect to do too much in a situation like this. Really damage, maybe a frag or two is perhaps the best case scenario you can look for. And I like this from Liquid, to go, just rushing Banana, rushing down middle. This is a really nice way to quickly, win the round, get the most out of the SMGs, shut down their choke points. There's no utility or anything really for the teams to fight back with. So as you can see, it's a very effective way to play this scenario, although some cheeky angles around the smoke will give one kill away to Big. But that may be all that's on the cards for them in this round.
Always want to leave a few bullets in the hole, but he had teammates there to cover him while he went for the reload. It ended up being bait at the end there, ELEAGUE. I did wonder about that setup from Team Liquid. They smoked off second mid, but they had JDM at the end of the balcony with the FAMAS, so the only hole in their defense was balcony to boiler, which is perhaps a lot to ask for in a round such as that. So far, so good for Big. For Liquid. Big have 3 kills across 2 players. So the impact has not been very positive to Team Liquid's economy, and maybe that's why Liquid start with 2 AWPs.
Yeah, very brave stuff straight off the bat. JDM with a nice angle towards the bench to begin with. Very safe though, coming so far. Again, this early on was such a big investment. You don't want to take big risks, but looking for the player that is supposed to eventually come here and clear the apps, and it will be Tabson. Beautiful stuff from JDM. And that's an interesting point of information for the future now for Big, to realize that there could be an orb in that position. They'll have to start throwing flashes there. And Nitro with the pick on Banana as well. This double up approach has gone very well against Big's default. Perhaps again, a show of the preparedness of Liquid.
I do wonder if that smoke on Banana was completely messed up, or if they were trying to somebody peeking from the tree position. I think it's a hard smoke to mess up on Banana, so maybe I'll ask, I think ELEAGUE through it, ask him later. Anyway, there's 3 big plays remaining, and they're all over towards the A side, which is still well defended. JDM getting smoked off towards Arch, but he's gone through that smoke, so he knows nobody's there, and he's continuing to push. Okay, going to the Arch position, but maybe he'll get a bit more greedy. Twist and Zeus have a crossfire. Twist on the balcony position. He can drop down, but Zeus may be the initial engager, which would turn him into a bait. He's not going to wait. He's going to look for the information himself. He spots the players there. Now he's really becoming the bait. Twist gets the first kill. Zeus gets taken out. But can JDM rotate in time? May not be required. Leggy in the pit with 10 seconds, and JDM will finish him off. So Liquid, indeed, they've got their angles.
Here it is, Tabson getting absolutely bodied in the apps. Now that's a very interesting spot as well, because now, another solution could be to get someone in mid to throw a Molotov to stop any potential peaks in boiler. There's loads of ways to Molotov boiler to prevent that. So Big will have to start being a bit more diligent when it comes to clearing those spaces, use more utility. That's what Liquid are telling them with these plays. Now we're back into the half buy now. No Kevlar actually, but loads of utility from Big as well as pistols. That's quite cool to see, and they're going to be attacking Banana first of all.
Yep, it's going to be a fast rush into the site. Nitro will be isolated from his teammate. The pistols are charging in ELEAGUE, trying to get around the back. He will take some players out though. There's only of the players left, but Gobi has armor and he's the next to go down. Almost a complete wipeout indeed. There it is. Nitro continuing to deliver with the AWP. We saw some nice AWPing from Nitro in the previous week, and it does look like Big are getting hard counter-stratted at the moment. But it's another round. It's buy time again. 5 AKs for Big. Now they might have to ask themselves, what is expected of us? What do we like to do? And how can we slightly change that to have more success?
5-0. What a score to start things off for the North American side. But again, AK's back out indeed, and it's time to make some of those adjustments in the default, because the double op setup was proving quite annoying previously for the default. We saw Nitro and JDM each get a pick towards Banana and one towards Apps. So now we're looking to see the improvement, the adjustment from Big, and you can see an HE there. Oh, the double peek comes in on the balcony position. Never expected that. Another cool, just tiny little play here by Liquid, gives them a frag, and they fall back now into very passive positions on the A site. Liquid are really playing very well at the moment.
1 minute 15. Lots of grenades left on the 4 surviving big players, and we know they are quite fond of an execute. ELEAGUE is making his way towards the A site. JDM flashed off his angle, but he will re-aggress. He is not shy for a pick. Got B very close though, so he might get traded here. Another high grenade. Got B's going to go forward. It's a shot missed by JDM. Team looking for a trade fragger from the balcony position though. ELEAGUE is in arch. Nitro holding an angle on B. He knows that there's no one there. His team can continue to contain. ELEAGUE looking for info. Might wait for a flashbang from his teammate. He's getting smoked off, which would suggest a potential wrap. But Nitro's got the information on Banana, but ELEAGUE is still going to rotate towards CT just in case. 30 seconds remain. ELEAGUE making his way towards arch. So what are Big going to do next? Is starting to run down down mid to see what's going on. Leggy gets picked off in the meantime, so Big now know that the CTs have some information towards top mid, but they're running out of time to really do anything here. 4 versus 3.
Yeah, it's desperation mode into the A site. Not going to go too well, but actually, as I say that, Kiev and Nex both getting frags, but still, they may not expect Zeus to be in this position. And I don't think he spotted the planter, but Kiev, looks like some damage will be done to him. Looks like Zeus doesn't know exactly where he is, but obviously knows that he's on the site somewhere. That bomb is now ticking away, but there's plenty of time to set up the retake here. Nades being thrown in as well. Kiev somehow able to dodge that one, and just amongst the smoke at the moment, trying to get some kind of an angle, but Zeus will easily pick him off as he reveals his position. Another round for Liquid, and with 2 members surviving, their economy not in a bad place at all, actually. They've got loads of money, so Liquid are loving life at the moment.
Nitro's rescued the second AWP as well. Slight delay in the defuse. Liquid looks so ready for Big.
Yeah.
Big they might have to throw the strat back out the window, because it seems that Liquid know all of their tricks so far. 6-0, now we get to the point where even if Big win just 1 round, if they don't win the next one, I mean, that might put Liquid at like 70-80% to win the game.
Is that a new tattoo on Nitro there? Veni Vidi Vici? The game I saw I conquered. That is legit.
I didn't see it. I was looking at our game screen.
I think it's on his mouse arm. Oh, that's brilliant. I like that. The game I saw I conquered. Well, at the moment, so far, it rings true in this match. As you say, it's actually so awesome how ready Liquid are for Big. That's so cool to see. Because eventually Big are going to have to start to work it out and say, hang on, our plays aren't quite panning out as they're supposed to. So they should surely catch on to this and hopefully have some sort of a backup plan. But either way, it's time for the force up here with the pistols and the armor. 4 grenades as well for Big. So let's see how they play this one out. Just trying to clear the spaces in the apps. Trying to create presence all over the place just to make sure that they won't be giving up too much map control to Liquid.
Always nice to see flashes through smoke top mid. Try and catch the CTs when they're not ready. JDM flashed off the arch position. Everybody else is playing passive at the moment for Liquid. Zeus is around the arch position as well. Twist in the pit, but not where the Molotovs are going. No one's checking for this position. Oh, the flashbangs are there. Suddenly he doesn't get a kill though. Damage being taken by the T's, but they've got the A site. 5 versus 3. So far, so good for Big. JDM missing the shot, but he'll get it on a second attempt. Wants player into boiler. That's some information for his team as they look for the retake.
Ooh, Kiev with the CZ taking down ELEAGUE. She was in pursuit. And indeed, I think this all sort of fell apart when Twist was unable to get his frags from pits. Now, Big are making a conversion in a great way here, picking up the AWP and a bunch of M4s as well. So they're going to be in a good space after this one. But yeah, sometimes it comes just down to that simple thing of if you're going to be anchoring a bomb site, getting a 2 frags. And Twist was not able to do that this time. Big's attack was successful with the CZs. However, an opportunity does present itself now for Liquid, as they can try to reset the loss bonus of Big. But that said, Big have a lot of money, as they weren't necessarily thinking that they would win that round.
Yeah, I think when Liquid were down to 2 AWPs, it was time to get out of there immediately. Now Big will take 2 AWPs into the next round. However, I think they're leaving one on the floor unless they manage to swap it out for a rifle. Either way, I like that. I think it's much better. It's hard to play your game if you pick up a second AWP on the T side, unless you are 100 Thieves. ELEAGUE Nitro towards Banana. Liquid last round started with a third player there for the grenades and then rotated him. That was JDM. JDM this time will start. Maybe expecting a faster play. 2 snipers here again for the CT side. Big standing in the smokes. Nice trick from them. Not shy of tricks on Inferno. Gobby's going back to spawn. I wonder what for, though.
I think the bomb, though.
No, he was carrying it already.
Oh, was he really? Okay,
yeah.
The AWP? Oh, he got the AWP. Oh, okay, because he has 10 HP.
Ah, I was on the floor. Oh, smart stuff. Look at the presence of mind from Gobby.
That's pretty cool, actually. We'll have to see if that pays off for him. It does look like Big are settling on the B-bomb side at the moment. They don't have top mid control, and Liquid know that. They actually have players spotting into top mid, so that means as soon as they spot grenades coming into the B-bomb side, they know it's a committed play. They can start to rotate Zeus over through Speedway, and I think he's starting to gravitate. Oh, no, he's not just yet, but it should be somewhat obvious. Liquid have all of top mid, so they can afford to cheat the player over. We'll see if they're going to do so, though. Smoke down. Will be up to the initial defenders. ELEAGUE with the spray gets 3. That's a massive result. Nitro doesn't have to even do too much at this point. ELEAGUE has given them a great position to retake from 4 versus 2.
Warning shots from Nitro. They'll have to check construction, but it is still basically in their possession. Gobby taking a forward position up on the barrels. This is a nice angle to hold, but will somebody peek him at the same time? It might be a 2-man peek. The grenade is there, and there it is, 2-man peek. And there'll be no more frags for Big. 4 people surviving for Liquid. That is perfect for them. The reset is here. However, because of the bomb plant, we might see another buy from Big. And that bomb plant just might be their savior.
What a beautiful flash and close onto the 3K. 7-1. Liquid looking very good on the CT side here. And Inferno is one of those maps as well, which is really, or can be very annoying from an economy standpoint. And Liquid are in a position where they can actually say they've had 0 issues with money on their CT side so far, up into the 9th round. So that's amazing. That's so amazing. Such a good feeling when you're playing this map. Have to see if the AWP on Kiev will actually pay off here. But Liquid have been playing generally quite safe. That's how their style has been. They haven't been going for too many aggressive moves, but as I say that, JDM goes for the peek there, into second mid through the window, catches them, and now they'll move into ELEAGUE and get absolutely grinded up by the M4. And Liquid, 5 versus 2, just like that.
Rumor has it, StarCraft 8 does +5 damage on Banana. ELEAGUE taken out by Kiev. One of 2 players remaining for Big. Tabson trying to get something working towards top mid, but JDM has that timing. Shoot just after you're flashed, and Tabson appears all too quickly. That leaves Kiev alone. Twist pushing the apps, taking liberties now, the CT side. JDM, can he get to the arch position first? Oh, Kiev is unscoped, and that will be his undoing. That will be his downfall. 8-1 in favor of Liquid.
Absolutely, this is looking quite good for them. It's really surprising. Again, we credit Big in being a very tactical team, very strategical team, and the map is quite suitable for them in that sense, but it's all Liquid still. 8-1, they seem impenetrable, and the amazing value that Big picked up from the 1 round that they won is all but gone at this point. They do have some money in the hole, but they'll have to go for a half buy in this round.
It is currently a tactical timeout from Big, and you can see the coach communicating to his team. And they've, at this point, the last round, they only got 2,400 for losing that. So it's eco territory for them. And that sucks.
Ooh, I like it. ELEAGUE just picked up the MP9. It's always fun. Really, really strong weapon. I think it's like the best of SMGs in that price range. For me, at least. It's been really awesome.
I like the auto shotgun for B in a run like this. Because he's going towards the B-bomb site. So I would take the auto shotgun. That's my preference.
We've seen this sort of approach from Big previously when they are on half buys. And again, it does seem like Liquid have done all the research on this team, so they seem to be pretty expectant. And you can see they're going very, very passive, already cheating a 4th player towards the A side. So they seem to have a decent read. We already saw this Molotov previously onto the quad position from them. So once again, running a similar routine. This did actually work previously when Liquid did get caught slightly off guard, but they seem to have learned from their mistake. And Big are going to have a very hard time getting in onto this A-bomb site with 4 players ready to go.
Next might understand where that smoke came from based on the trajectory. However, I don't know what they can really do with that information, especially as they're on pistols. JDM is standing on the couch. in the library position, which is something you would see when it's a sniper versus a sniper. If you can elevate your position and they go for a crouch peek, as you used to be able to much better with the AWP, then JDM would more likely be shot in the leg and then get a fatal shot himself on his opponent. You don't see this position used so much anymore. People often will stand on the corner of the site so they can support shorts better, but it's nice to see it every now and then. He's got a lead for support as well, looking for that info, not going to wait around for Big. There's the flash there. They'll run straight into the crosshairs of JDM. There's a bomb loss as well. JDM enjoying his reticle. Shots all over the place. I think he got a shot Legia towards short there as well, so still able to get to work from the library position.
I like the bait here from ELEAGUE with the MP9. The timing was actually so perfect. And it was a 5-man cleanup. Easy does it. 9-1. Team Liquid absolutely destroying Big at the moment. They are being annihilated.
Credit to JDM as well for not trying to shoot the first player. He let him go past. He knows ELEAGUE is there with the MP9, so if more come out, then he knows the push is coming, more prepared for it, will react faster. So that was really cool as well.
Now there's so many things that Big need to try to deal with Liquid and their very strong presence on the map so far. And one of the cool things about Liquid is they haven't been taking many risks, but when they have been, they've been quite good. This is one of the first times. Hasn't gone very well for Team Liquid, but that said, JDM did not die, so that's brilliant. I mean, Big will win the control of the apartments, but that typically is somewhat of a given to a terrorist side on this map. JDM's going back, surely not. This is crazy. Going for this angle again. Retaking this angle. The smoke is up to protect him. He only has a certain window of time here. Misses the shot, gives up the position. More nades into mid in case someone would try to pursue him. Very tense stuff around mid, but there's 4 players there still for Liquid.
What's cool is, I think Fallen tweeted the other day and said, like, if you're playing with a coach, then you have to rotate the coach on the CT side. But rather than necessarily doing that, I think ELEAGUE is essentially support for the coach. You can see him playing next to Zeus in this situation in the arch position, so that's really important. And now 40 seconds left, and Kiev again is the only person in Banana, but again starting to move away as the push comes in top mid. JDM is willing to go for peaks again and again. He doesn't get that. Twist is able to offer support, and there is JDM again, but Twist will be the one to get the kill. 2 versus 5, and Big are not in this game right now.
They're getting absolutely annihilated indeed. It's not a good look for them. And it just seems like all of their strats, Liquid are just very prepared for it. And also, one other thing about this as well in this round and in some previous rounds is that there's no pressure from Big on Banana. This is how you create a level of obscurity as to what hand you're going to actually play when everything is said and done, is by taking as much map control as possible, denying as much information as possible, always keeping it open to double back if it does go wrong, give yourself a way out. But Big have not been doing that. We just see them standing in mid, trying to win battles. Okay, that doesn't go well, then we lose the round.
I feel like they've only really gone to B in rounds such as this, where they're going for a fast play of flashbangs and pistols. But I don't know if they've really gone on a buy round. Tapson's made his way through towards the CT area, but there are more CTs coming in. Reinforcement. There is use. He will get traded, but it's a 4 versus 2, so concern is minimal at this point. And ELEAGUE is still on the site, just waiting, hoping to shut down any plant. These guys are surrounded. Keeve is the only man who can escape, and he does not have the bomb. So what does Tapson do in this situation? Does he wait for Keeve to make a play? I think he's got to come into play himself. Bomb plant would be perfect for them, but does not look likely now. ELEAGUE can just hide at the back of the site if he wants to. Push comes in, and in all of that madness, Liquid only lose that 1 player.
Can we just note that Nitro decided, yeah, there's a smoke on CT, I have an AWP. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely going through this with a flashbang. There's 4 players with pistols running at me. That's amazing. I don't know if, like, when you'll really see that very often, so time to savor it. Nitro has been an absolute beast. If you missed it throughout the Challenger series or stage of the tournament, I mean, wow, Nitro was on fire with every single weapon, but in particular, the AWP was really special with him. So can't wait to see the continuation of that as the Legend stage plays out here.
And it's basically been JDM dominating top mid area. Liquid not going to play too close to it to allow Big to burst through a smoke of a flashbang. JDM's been picked off this time, but we'll see if Big can capitalize on it with a much needed round. More focus towards B this time, but Nitro gets a shot through the wall, presumably, which might slow them down, but Keeve is still holding an angle. He has been the lurker towards B in most rounds, but maybe it's finally twigged that Big should pay more attention to B in the buy round.
Yeah, this is one of those critical aspects of playing a T side on this map, on Inferno, is just winning the fight at Banana with the exchange of grenades and good tactical calls, but Liquid coming out on top there. Although it's the 4-on-4, so this is one of the better positions Big have had to play from in the mid-round. And they will decide to go for B, and there is only one player there, but it is Nitro. A player that's been so incredible so far the last week or so. His performances have been so insane. Let's see what he's got here. Lots of nades coming in. It's very telegraphed at this point. Goes for the just straight up peek here. Nitro, what will he find? There's the first flick shot. Misses. And this is a big chance now for the Germans.
Yes, this is a very difficult retake at this point for Team Liquid. 3 versus 4. They have the money maybe to go for this regardless, considering there aren't many rounds left. Even if they don't win the round but take guns away, that might be enough for them. Tabson taken out very quickly indeed. And Leisha's got great angle towards construction. No more grenades left for Liquid, but the kills keep raining in. There's the trade. And that's suddenly Leggy's in a 1 versus 2. It was 4 versus 3. 1-on-1, and that is a much needed round for Big. Rescue and AWP as well. Not many rounds to fight for though in this first half of Inferno.
Very stressful times. Went down to the last man. I actually almost thought Liquid were going to do that just because that's just, it seems like how the game has been going. And the fact that Nitro wasn't able to get a frag, that's also, it feels like an unlikely scenario, again, with the performance we've seen out of him. But you can see the confidence, that the way that he actually crouched, peeked away from the coffins, to me did show an incredible amount of confidence, knowing that 4 men are rushing you down, not trying to play a tighter angle, Nitro. So a lot of confidence. Ooh, Keeve almost gets 2 there. Could have been absolutely huge, but still 1. He'll take that, I am sure. And now this could be very interesting. Big with a very early advantage, causing a rotation, and they'll know that it's very likely Liquid will play 2 to a site from this point. They can use this information.
Nitro's not shy to spam through that wall. He managed to tag Nex down to 40, but Keeve has been waiting for the re-aggression. But maybe Nitro will play a sneakier angle. The pop flashes there. And Keeve rattles off a warning shot. Still a man advantage for the T side. JDM, though, continues his aggression, which we haven't been able to talk about so much. Godby's chasing him, though, with some grenades, but the CTs are gone. That's top mid possession for Big, and maybe that will lead them towards a play towards A. That will certainly help. JDM finally getting punished for his constant re-peaks.
Feels like a long time coming, doesn't it? It's pretty heinous, some of those peaks he's been able to go for, but reinforcements on the way. However, we're going to trade now, down to a 2 versus 3 for Liquid. So look at the defender side, twist up on the crate in the corner, doing good damage. There's the pop flash, another nice one from Nitro, as Tabson looks for the finish, and he does get it onto Twist. That's the bomb now to be planted, to set the clock upon Nitro. Still rocking the AWP. Oh, have to be so careful. Nitro! Gonna go down straight away. Beautiful peek there from Tabson. Immense confidence. Exactly what you need in that situation. That's the 3rd round on the board for Big. But I don't think there's been ever a single round where Liquid have run out of money.
Last round in the first half, and Liquid can spread the wealth. Will be the 1 sniper rifle for this round, and I think Zeus might be on a CZ. Surely there's some crappy SMG for him at least. Seems that the grenades were prioritized, and that's perfectly fine when you have a CZ 75. 11-3. Can Big give themselves space to breathe? It's a double short play from Liquid this time. Zeus throwing some grenades into the middle position, and maybe Big will play a slow game. They won a few rounds in a row now, trying to exhaust the utility of their opponent. Big have been focusing on clearing out the apartments area. Legia and Keeve now starting to move back. Where can they identify these CTs? JDM's peaked this position so many times, and there is a smoke down in top mid, so might make them slightly scared. Grenade is deployed, and here is the aggression.
We know how good he's been with the CZ. So leads to go down by Banana though, causing additional pressure for Liquid. JDM, he's been very active around quads, looking for the flashbang, goes for the peak. Brilliant, again, so consistent here so far with that. However, the balcony push will be the deal breaker for him, as Nitro has to come in 1 versus 4. Not really a very good situation, and Big pick up their 4th round right at the end there. But still, they have to contend with this gargantuan effort from Team Liquid. 11. They look so confident. And as you said, James, they just really look like they've been studying the hell out of Big.
Yeah, and you can see some of the big players on your screen there. Still looking fairly confident. Don't look shaken, worried, or nervous, despite how dominant that half was, to be honest with you. But now it's time to swap sides, and after the pistol, we will see what Liquid have in store on the T side. Again, maybe Big will have to try and play against their own expectations of themselves. Time will tell, but first comes the pistol. Very, very crucial. This is the opportunity for Big to get back into the game, but they're on the CT side, so again, it is down to Liquid to impose their will. Twist and Nitro will be the grenade men. Molotov for Nitro. Will it be towards the pit, perhaps? Maybe for banana arrows. That's where most people seem to be headed. Zeus checking second mid in the meantime. Some flashes are there. Also from the CT side. Taps it off to a good start, but he will get traded immediately by Nitro.
That's a big trade there. Ooh, and Zeus ready for the flank, actually. Catching God B. And perhaps God B was a little bit too aggressive there because Liquid have yet to push into the bomb site. And now this is a really smart hold of position from Liquid, looking to be able to find engagements together. Flashbangs out. The CT's pretty blind. What on earth was that from Zeus? Jumping Glock. Zeus is absolutely destroying everyone on the server. And that is not something I expected to say.
I think he was amused at that. I saw him looking at Nitro, presumably a smile on his face, but the round's not over yet. 1 versus 4 for Legia. The bomb's about to get planted. He has a kit. That smoke's just gone down, which is it's almost a round-winning smoke in this situation in itself, because it wastes so much time. He can't walk through that and be facing 2 to 4 people. JDM's still in banana for some reason. And then there's Zeus again. Zeus with the 4K and a pistol round. Why not?
Easy.
He wants that MVP start.
What on God's green earth is that? Please, Zeus, please stop this madness. Oh no, you can see how devastating that is for Big. They're going to be off to a horrible start here.
For the lols. I think that was like mid-round as well. At least some of it was. And yeah, you can see what that pistol round meant to Big. That was their way back into the match. Now we might be looking at a 14-4 scoreline for Team Liquid. So the road to recovery may not be mountable for Big. They've gone for the force buy though. Trying to right the ship.
I think some information there from Twist. I think you must have heard God B. Not too much to be done about it. There's a nade, and that's going to do a good chunk of damage. It does go a long way in rounds like this, when most of your players don't have AK-47s. The UMP does have pretty good armor penetration, but not the best rate of fire. So, see JDM now trying to make his way up mid. We're looking to try to take some map control. And Big have not given away really any information as to how they're playing this round. Team Liquid are looking for stacks. They're looking for early picks as well. They want to make it as safe as possible to get into a bomb site and avoid the potential damage of the CZs at close range. So far, they have no information at all. They don't know where the stack is, if there is even a stack.
40-second mark. Nitro has almost made his way towards top mid, but how do they glean in information? With a flashbang on banana, sorry, top banana, not top mid. With a flashbang on banana, Legia and Kyiv have started to rotate in that direction, whereas JDM is still holding an angle towards A. But how do Legia and Kyiv get to the site? 27 seconds left, and I do worry about how much Liquid have run the clock down without really getting any information. You see a second CT coming into play there, and there's still no smoke down in CT, which makes it even worse. There are 4 CTs here now, and 15 seconds to plant this bomb. This is absolute carnage. Next is surely going to run through, try and pick some good timing for him. That's not going to work out, though. Legia now, can he find the right angle? He's up on top of the smoke. He's seen the bomb-planting player, but he can't take him out. Now it's Legia and Gobby left. Gobby, the bottom of mid, last man standing. Good damage done. It could have been a lot worse for Liquid, though. And I think they may have wanted to use their time a bit wiser.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right there. Big played the round in the perfect way. It seemed to make things horrendous for Liquid. And I think there's so many spots where, like, letting it get down to that position that they're just going to straight up lose the round. I think Liquid are pretty fortunate not to throw that one away. And Big did a pretty good job with what they had. But it is 13-4, and there's not much really that Big can do in this round. They've got any stock pistols, an HE and a P250. Not sure what the HE's for there on ELEAGUE, but I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, should, well, win or lose, Liquid definitely have to review that round. Cannot make those mistakes too many times. It is a major after all. Triple peak, top mid.
He threw the nade at his teammates, James.
not advisable. In the meantime, though, Zeus has had the right reactive play, and he's gone seeking with the Mac 10 to see what's going on in B. And there's not much going on. The bomb will get planted. Leech can cover the smoke while Zeus takes care of construction. Spotting loads of players, trying to conserve his bullets, spreading the love, the joy. Keeve and ELEAGUE remain. JDM not massively at risk in that tight choke point of a strafing Mac 10. Should be able to deal with it. Doesn't want to head off too far. Now Keeve's the last man standing. And there it is. The cleanup operation is done. And Liquid are 2 rounds away from victory.
Yeah, looking really nice for them so far. Bit of a rough start to the day for Big, but there's always a way back in. It is Counter-Strike after all. All they have to do is win this round, get rid of Liquid's money, start to snowball things a little bit, just as Liquid did, and have a position where they can have, you know, just a really healthy economy, all the grenades, all the options to take, you know, banana control and so on and so forth. But before we get to that point, it is all about this one, of course, and Liquid, what are they up to here? Fast presence towards banana. They want to fight there with their own grenades, making sure that Big cannot control this position. So they're looking pretty good, actually, from Liquid. They haven't sustained much damage, and you can see that their presence here is due to a lack of the ability to buy incendiaries. So from that perspective, this is a really smart opening from Liquid, understanding that Big can't contest their superior utility.
Some Molotovs. That's a nice Molotov in case there was a play from the CTs with a pop flash. That's roughly where you would stand and where you would run, so you can't do that anymore. Smoke tricks from Big. Nitro, oh, that's 2. He's got really good value out of that one. The bomb structure as well, but the site will be cleaned out. And it's a long rotation through CT for Keeve, got B, and next. Keeve just making it to the corner now, but the Ts are already in position, however. No one's in construction, so the CTs will take that for free, and that will raise their chances of a retake.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be good, well, a decent chance here for Big. 1 smoke remaining as far as utility is concerned. 2 players playing out of ball here. Double peek. Oh, next. Deflecting that with ease here. Comes Nitro, and he can't find anything there. And, well, that worked out very nicely for Big.
That was an unexpected result.
Oh, yeah.
But a much-needed one. 3 players surviving. You can see Tabson keeping his teammates focused. Never mind the victory. Let's move on to the next round and what will be asked of us in that one. Liquid have got the money to buy. Zeus might be somewhat short, but he's got a grenade, so his priority is to enable his players, and I'm sure he will try to do that in this round. Big have a lot of defending to do.
And Liquid have an amazing position where they just have such a buffer to work off of. They can do whatever they want, they can take whatever risk they want, they don't have to feel too bad about it. They don't have to care about Big's economy either. They just have to say, well, we just win 2 gun rounds, and that's it. So you can see this fire everywhere, really giving it his name, Inferno. Staying true to his name, that is. And Liquid don't want to give this up. It's a bad smoke there. At the bottom of Banana, something that Nitro can absolutely take advantage of. Just haven't realized that that smoke is terrible. That's could be problematic. Nitro will creep forwards here. A re-smoke. Nitro's already in position. Could surprise them here. Still more utility used by the CTs here. Twist gets a pick towards the balcony. Oh, Nitro smashes the B defense. This has gone awfully wrong.
The flashbang from his teammate was perfect for the second kill. And they might even have an opportunity to throw the deeper CT smoke, which cuts off the construction position. I don't think they've done that, though. It does have its own risks, of course, because you are exposed to CT spawn. And there we go. That is match point secured for Team Liquid. Big trying to hold on to 2 weapons in this round. Desperately needed, and there goes one of them. So things just going from bad to absolutely terrible for Big in their first match.
I'm just looking at the scores here on the players. We've got 21 kills for Twist, 22 kills for ELEAGUE, 20 kills for JDM. Those 3 are having a really good game. That is for certain, as they each have about 7 to 10 deaths each. So yeah, that's looking really good. Actually, I have to say on the CT side, JDM really impressed me with his constant aggressions because he made it work. And it seemed like a better JDM than we saw overall in the challenger stage for me personally. But mid-rush it is for the Germans, and going to go too well for Nex, at least.
Big will try to stop the bleeding with the smoke grenade, not fully committing to that mid push. Got to be, though, almost getting grenaded into Oblivion. Oblivion still isn't far away for Big at present. Legier alone on Banana, tabseN trying to figure out which way he should go. Big need a strong defense somewhere, and that means taking risks.
And Liquid, I mean, they have lost a lot of health on their players during the early exchanges around middle. So perhaps Nex's, well, his death, his sacrifice is not for naughts.
Where ELEAGUE was just standing, by the way, if you're playing Pugs at home and 4 of your teammates go Banana, stand there. So anybody pushes Axe, anyone pushes Banana, sorry, mid or balcony, and you have a chance while you wait for your team to derp. 40 seconds remain. 4 people still alive for Big. 3 pistols and a UMP, but Liquid going to make the same mistake as before, where they might not give themselves enough time to, in a controlled fashion, push a bomb site. ELEAGUE has some good high ground advantage, so this may go much better for Liquid.
I like this choice as an adjustment as to that previous mistake, and there it is. They have a perfect wrap on the bomb side. There's surely very little Keith can do. He gets himself one, but traded out there to the superior numbers and positioning of Team Liquid. JDM as well will be cutting down his opponents, and it's just Legier left. It's only Legier standing between defeats and another chance at staying in this game, but it's looking very unlikely. He's not even got any Kevlar. He's got a kit though, but he walks straight into his doom, and that's a convincing 16-5 victory for Team Liquid here for their first match in the Legends stage. What a way to kick it off.
Yeah, it's a new week of Counter-Strike. It's a new day for Liquid, and it's a fantastic start from a team where we can't really gauge just how far they can go. Big, though, that is a huge pothole for them. That's a bump in the road, but it's one match of many this week, so they don't want to take it to heart too much. Thoughts of the desk coming up after the break.
So you can see Astralis are in the Cheese It Grooves lounge. They're watching the action there and getting a bite to eat, getting prepared for their game a little bit later today. But what we're going to talk about now is what we just saw, which is, of course, Team Liquid looking very good against Big on a map where a lot of people expected Big to put in a good showing. Moses joins us on the desk now for his first bit of talk time.
Yeah.
You all good?
Well, yeah, I am pretty good.
You were cheering on Team Liquid. You were pretty energetic
Naturally.
backstage.
Yeah, I was very
Jordan
happy.
still couldn't bring himself to do it. He's all about that Cloud9 life. But
It wasn't anything too malicious against him. You know, I was just
traitor.
I was giving Big some love there. The big guys, they're all nice guys, right? We're all just here trying to win a Counter-Strike match. I did start out with a little bit of face there for Big, and you know what it is? You know what a conclusion I came to? I was watching them run a couple of their first round strats. They had some great ideas, but the timing was off. And I think when you're that strat heavy as a team, you got to make sure all those things are dialed in. You got to make sure your timings are right, because they're just losing a lot of duels without trades, and a lot of their set plays just weren't doing it.
yeah, and here's the thing, Jordan, and I'll bring Jason in for this point as well. I think Big, because their firepower is a little bit lacking, a little bit dubious, it's super important that when they have those set plays, that they do trade, because if they don't, they got problems.
Their firepower is a lot of bit lacking. I mean, they had a very tough game in that regard, but also part of it is the reason why their timings look off as well is Liquid just did a good job. Those AWPs that they got out, they pretty much had double ops the entire CT side, and they were picking like 1 to 2 players off every single round as they're trying to gain map control to even execute. So if you're going to rely on executes and you're losing players and you only have, you know, you're in a 3 and 5, like those executes aren't going to go good no matter what. And a large part of this as well, when Zeus is styling on you,
when you got a coach
like
flexing. Yeah, no, and I mostly agree with you. I guess it was just the first couple rounds I saw where I felt like I really saw Big having a couple nice plays, but then one guy so far ahead of the pack dies without any like semblance of a trade. So it was unfortunate to see. And
yeah, I think I heard someone screaming, "A manager!" in German or something like that. But no, honestly, Team Liquid looked really, really good and have done. I mean, look at the numbers there from Twist. We've been talking youngest player here, I think. No, actually, second youngest after Rops. And just incredible performance all throughout this event.
He's probably got some of the most potential I've seen out of a young player in North America since, like, I guess ELEAGUE or Stewie or something like that. I mean, you played against him quite a bit. He's turning into quite a player, which is really cool. But as well, I mean, it's good because we saw through the challenger stage that it was Nitro, you know, carrying the load. And if you get Twist involved, if you get ELEAGUE involved, all of a sudden you are overcoming that firepower that you're lacking with Zeus, or that stand-in kind of situation. And then obviously if you have a double op set up the whole time, JDM's playing well also. So that's a scary Liquid team that was just kind of firing on all cylinders, although I don't think Big really did a whole lot to knock them off that momentum.
No, we'll see if Big are able to bounce back. But coming up next, we are going to have FaZe versus Fnatic. And as such, Sue spoke to one of the most decorated players in the game in the form of JW.
Hey GW, thanks for taking the time to do this interview and Happy New Year. I saw that right as the New Year started, you tweeted that the team went straight into boot camp the day after. So during the boot camp, was the team just strengthening what Golden had already built, or was it more about making some changes?
I would say we have done like some big changes, but the biggest focus was basically to fix the small things, because we built up a game plan and we built up a lot of things by the end of the year. And we finished fourth in, or third to fourth in both ECS and EPL. So basically the bootcamp was a lot about fixing the small mistakes and just making what we do slightly better. Because we know what we have and we know that it is good, but we just need to make it slightly better to come out on top. And we also have made some other changes that you might notice on the server, basically. I can't tell too much about it.
Sounds good. And speaking of those top 4 finishes at the end of the year, after Golden joined in August, it felt like it took a little bit of time for the team to gel and finally get those results in December. So was it just about getting used to the structure that Golden brought with him?
I think we, like, from the first bootcamp we had with the team, the very first practice week we had with the team was really, really good. We improved a lot, and we played like the best Counter-Strike we have played in a long time. But then we went into Malmö and we kind of felt the inexperience within us as a team. So I think that hurt us a lot, but we just kept grinding, and I think we still keep improving. And I think this bootcamp is maybe the best we have ever had. And yeah, I think we are in the best form we have ever been right now.
That's fantastic to hear, because coming up next is a match that I think the team should be personally invested in. It's the team FaZe that is the team that took you guys down in both semifinals in December. So this time, do you think you guys can get revenge?
We always think we can get revenge, and we always go into the matchup knowing that we can beat them, and we know that we have what it takes. So we're just going to go in, play our game. If we come out on top, that's good, but it's just one small step towards the goal of winning the event. So we just take one match at a time.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, and good luck today.
Thank you.
So there you have it, Jordan. JW says they're in the best form they've ever been in. They're betting in a new in-game leader. This is his major debut, actually, over at Fnatic. They seem confident, but I never know what to expect from these guys.
Yeah, I mean, he was talking about how their game plan started shaping up at the end of the year, but they also lost the last 2 maps they played against FaZe pretty handedly over in Cancun. So maybe they took some of that to heart. Maybe they actually looked at that match specifically and learned something. And that's, of course, what I'm hoping they did, because JW's sounding confident.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say they're going to be able to overcome FaZe necessarily, but I just think it's cool that they get to play Olaf Meister, one of their, obviously, the former legendary players of Fnatic. But this team, I'm all aboard the train that this roster is turning into something really fun and really cool to watch, and is starting to get a lot of positive ground. I don't think they're quite at the level where they're going to be able to take on FaZe just yet, but I mean, part of it you have to remember, I mean, I think Flusha is still like listed in like the top 10 players at majors of all time. I think in Cancun we saw this like level that Crims hit that was like brought tears to your eyes, like thinking of the nostalgia of 2015 Crims and everything. So this team has a lot of really, really cool things going for it right now.
Yeah, and they're going to be up against FaZe. Now, Jordan, I know when FaZe started putting together this super team, you were a little bit disappointed you didn't get the call. I don't know why.
I figured they wanted
there's room for you in there.
They needed a tan in there somewhere, and I'm from Southern California. I could have really helped them out. But yeah, this team, it kind of reminds me of the NOA back in the day, doesn't it, Jason?
Yeah.
Short of a Destructo.
Yeah, a little bit.
So it's just exciting, and it's one of those things where in BO1, this is probably the only chance that someone in the predictions would say Fnatic actually could get a little random here. What was it, Overpass and Train, I think they played last in their losses. So today, I'm hoping to see not those maps, because I think I think playing FaZe on Overpass is pretty stupid, and I think Train is pretty stupid as well. So
it's also just like the one thing they have to hope for is, we've seen it a couple times with this FaZe team, is that it doesn't seem to be as gelled as people like want it to be, or as like we like to believe it is. They seem to have some matches where it isn't going right. Like you always think of like the New York tournament that they just breezed through, just destroying everyone when you think of this FaZe team, but you don't really remember, you know, kind of like the day one FaZe from the challenger stage when they really looked sluggish, and when they showed some weakness. So this lineup, while there's so much skill on it, it almost seems like they haven't quite found out how it's all going to be used perfectly in this squad.
Yeah, you can't just turn up and expect it all to click. And certainly they've had their moments where they've stumbled a little bit already at this major, you know, lost a game at a Vegas Squadron. One of the strangest things ever to happen.
They're going to win the major.
Well, that's one of the questions.
I'm just kidding.
Do we got the map yet? Because I'm actually curious how they feel about Inferno now.
Well, here it is. So Fnatic have selected Cash.
Okay.
And FaZe are going to choose that T side. So come on, Jordan.
This is another map, actually, where another upset could happen. And my predictions could just get completely obliterated for the day, because this is a map where
you're going to beat Yanko, so it's all right.
Old Fnatic was very good. And actually, the funny thing is, Old Fnatic was very good, partly due to Olaf, because he used to take mid control like single-handedly. So this is going to be an interesting kind of survey for us.
And this new Fnatic under Golden on this map as well has shown that they have some very cool executes, like for each of the bomb sites and for taking mid control. The one thing I have noticed from them is from time to time they get lost on between whether they want to play that execute style or whether they want to play very loose and individual. And sometimes it seemed like they haven't been as decisive as they can be in moments. And that's kind of what's scary. But on the other hand, you got to look at this and say, okay, FaZe, this map lends itself to so much skill. There's so many individual, places where you can make an individual play, so many places where you could just duel and let that shine. So this is going to be scary. Nico especially is very deadly on this map.
Sure, but you remember when Carrigan went for this as a Hail Mary against Astralis here at the end of the E-League Season 3 finals.
I didn't actually remember that.
Yeah.
I do now.
Yeah, and it nearly backfired. So I'm just saying they can, they can have their moments with it as well. So
Fnatic's no Astralis. Let's
all right.
start
Okay.
there.
So you're standing by the FaZe prediction?
Yeah, I'm going with FaZe.
Jordan?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with FaZe. I gave it to him. At the beginning.
I do like Bardoff getting a little crazy with his picks and going for the 1v8.
I thought you were going to say a little bit crazy wearing a scuba outfit, which I didn't even know
That goes without needing to be said, doesn't it?
Well, anyway, look, we are going to go to a break. When we come back, we are going to have FaZe versus Fnatic. This will be lit. Carrigan's ready. Are you? We'll find out after the break.
Over here at the Boost mobile casting desk, I picked, like, Fnatic are my dark horse for the major. Do you have a dark horse?
Oh, it's a difficult one. I don't know, like, I feel like Mousesports would probably be my dark horse, I suppose.
Okay, Fnatic are my dark horse. I've picked them to win this. It would be an upset, of course, but I think stylistically there is a chance of it happening. So I'm throwing it all on red.
You are the only person to predict Fnatic for this matchup, which is quite interesting. But as Jordan said on the desk, he was a bit afraid for the prediction just because he feels like this is the map where the upset could happen. And Fnatic have worked very hard. JW in the interview said there's a lot of stuff that's been going on that they've tweaked that he doesn't want to give away. So let's see how things start off here. Because we've got Guardian, he's picked up the Deagle. That's a fun one. Trying to get the picks in mid, and he's going to get it as well. Onto Lekra, no less.
And Rain with a P250 will get a headshot in the pistol round. Always nice to see. And they're waiting for more picks, not committing anything just yet. Although it does look like a split of the A site is what we're about to witness. Nico is in the main area, and he'll start to charge in as Rain holds angles towards the forklift position and the car, clearing one then the other. Golden trying to catch him out, but he won't. Looks like FaZe are off to a good start on Cash.
Yeah, just no doubt about it. 5 players still alive at this point. Olaf going for the last frag. He is quite weak though. Crims could win this 1v1. Olaf versus Crims. What a weird thing to see, isn't it? Just the old duo now at each other's throats, on the server at the very least. sure they are best of buds still in real life.
I said I'm betting on red, but really I'm betting on black and yellow. Always bet on black. Hashtag Quinton Jackson.
Chega aqui para seus ex-companheiros.
Oh, it's just not really happening, is it? Denied even a single kill. Guardian gets himself to with that deagle of his. So a pretty important start here. I mean, playing CT side on cash with no money, it's just, oh God, it's just so annoying.
Oh God.
It's just so annoying, James.
For those of you on Go TV, on FaZe's T side, I am going to suggest Nico. On Fnatic CT side, I'm going to suggest Flusher. I always like watching Flusher's POV on cash specifically on the CT side, although I'm sure his role has changed since I used to watch it. Anyway, see what the anti-force buy is like for FaZe, moving quickly towards the A site. Golden, looking for some pot shots. He's been spotted though, and he is swatted soon after. Now, he was the only person in A. Now Fnatic find themselves quite far away. However, the ironic thing about these smoke grenades is that it allows the CTs to get closer to the site. I think it was FaZe who smoked between the wall and the red container, and that's a strong smoke and a buy round. But versus a forced buy on Eco, the CTs can choose to get close behind it. On this occasion, they haven't, and it seems they might go for a save or an opportunist kill here and there.
There's a little bit of information. Chris has picked up a Mac-10. It doesn't look as good when anybody apart from Hutchie uses it, and maybe JR from Vega Squadron. Vega Squadron knows something about Mac-10s that just no one else in the world does, it seems, making it look like an actual rifle. But Lekro up to the usual deagle shenanigans. Lekro, I think there's a huge period of time, I'm not sure if we're still in that time, where he really did seem like the best dealer in the world. Like, every time he picked it up, he could just win a 1v5 with it, he could just do incredible damage with it, was always good for a frag every time he collected it. So again, you know, it's been a while since we saw Lekro. And that is one note to make though. His deagling is strong, and that may be very important here. As we can see, you need to get every little bit of damage you can possibly get against a team like FaZe. Keep their economy honest. This is a round where they could really start to build some money. Although 3 Kevlar still remaining here from Fnatic from the previous round.
Crucially, there's not going to be a AWP for Fnatic in the buy round. And I think that's a big loss. But I like how committed they are. That said, JW is the person carrying the Mac-10 at the moment, so if he's able to get a kill or two, then there will be an AWP. But he is far away. In this round, an AWP would normally have 3,000 to 3,400. He's got just under 2,000, and that's so he needs 2 kills basically with that Mac-10 if he wants to buy an AWP in the next round. See how far he can get on that mission.
Well, they are moving into his positions, although his first friend will die. Crims is gone. A flash would be lovely here for the Fnatic side. And there's a flash! Fancy that. There's one of the frags for JW, but it's going to end there. And the B bomb side has been taken. Golden, though, to get himself a cheeky frag with the CZ. It's hard to see him doing too much else. He does have a lack of anything, to be honest, to really make a play from that position. He will die. So the round is collected by FaZe, but Fnatic have done well to keep the pressure up, keep the damage in, and keep the economy, as a result, low for FaZe. As Fnatic now will be going for the full buy, and it's, as you mentioned, James, a buy with no AWP, which is always sad when you've got a player like JW on your side.
I think I mean, there's just so much you can do with an AWP. I don't need to go through it. Maybe Guardian will show us, because he's on the T side with an AWP of his own. He won't be boosted fast. He'll be looking to cover A main for his teammates. There's a pop flash. It might be a fast play just to break the buy of Fnatic. Rain charging into the A side, spraying through the smoke as well. JW barely surviving. Look how close Mousesports is to the car position as well. He might even jump onto the highway position. He will do exactly that. There's one kill. Not the other one, though. JW will survive for now.
Yeah, but they know exactly where he is. Ooh, does he actually make it out of there? He will. In fact, that smoke will allow him to even be a little bit more safe to escape. And Fnatic in a really awkward position at the moment. All their money could be taken away from them. FaZe, though, not looking too committed in pursuing the kills. looking to... I mean, to be fair, that makes a lot of sense. Right now, they need to consider their own economy as well, and they have sustained massive losses in the previous rounds. So Fnatic will have another go of it. They will be able to buy up around these 3 guns that are saved. That's like a key difference when you save 3 guns, because that means, ooh, hello. So I say that. And the reason would have been is because, you know, you've got 3 guys, around $3,000. They can all drop rifles, and everyone's happy. Everyone has a rifle. Everyone can get some utility. But if you've got 2 guys, then there's only 2 drops. So one person's stuck on a pistol.
On the plus side, that kill maybe makes it more likely we will see an AWP faster on Fnatic in round number 6. Number 5 doesn't look so good for them with the 2 rifles and some pistols here and there. I feel like we've seen a rise in the trend of a T side winning the pistol round and on a buy round having a fast round to just break these CTs immediately. Seen that a few times so far at this major. Smokes down. No more nades if there were any for the CT side. I'm sure there were in mid and B. So now they'll have to play their weapons. Crims and Flusher, both on the B bomb site with the rifles. For Fnatic at the moment, 2-1-2 setup, somewhat traditional for Fnatic. So it'll make it expensive for FaZe to find where these players are. JW hiding by the sandbags for the time being. There's the Molotov to flush him out eventually. Although it doesn't seem to be connecting with him. Oh, it's terrible. It's a terrible flashbang, so that could cost FaZe. Are they aware just how bad the flashbang was? Perhaps not, but Rain is good for it anyway. Yep. Sorry, the Molotov, not flashbang.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't really matter, does it, when Rain is just... He's just too good, isn't he? Able to react in a good amount of time, and Flusher gets himself a frag as well. So at this point, they know where the only dangerous weapon is, and Flusher is somewhat isolated on the B site with that. And it's going to be an easy job now for FaZe to, with the information, move into the correct spaces on the map towards A and do the damage. Although they do get the kill there. Golden, he's done some damage. Can they actually stop this? Golden gets himself another one. Lecro's there as well. And all of a sudden, everything goes wrong. There's no time for even Olafmeister to save this. He's got to get both kills if he wants to try to win this round. But Lecro with a run and gun for the finish. And Golden showing that he can do it too. What a beautiful result for Fnatic.
What can you say about that one? Sometimes you get shot in the face. Nico looks the wrong way at the wrong time and boom. It's a great one onto Rain. Great repositioning from Golden. The Deagles. Nice to see some sparks from Lecro as well on his previous teams. He was infamous for his Deagle play. That will net Fnatic some extra money in this round, and indeed it's Lecro on the AWP actually, so things are changing. And this may be positional based. Lecro's alone towards A, JW playing close mid, 1-3-1 setup for Fnatic.
FaZe looking to pressure in, but looking to find a good timing for it. There it goes in the incendiary. The flashbang, not quite perfect there, but Golden's going to be having a good time. That easy frag to carry out to Rain. Golden doing so much damage. Eventually, the Tracer fire will give his position away, and Olafmeister will execute him, but the damage has been done here. This mid setup's worked out. 4 versus 3 for Fnatic, with over a minute to go.
Fnatic have actually rotated entirely out of the B bomb site for the time being. Guardian almost getting caught. And now Flush will make his way back towards B, but of course there's no reason for FaZe to realize that nobody's in the B bomb site, so Fnatic are playing the extra man to defend mid. And that's pretty awesome to see. Very rare you see that, and Flusher, he had a look back towards B, didn't see anything, and now he's rotating towards A, so Fnatic are really taking some risks here to make their defense as strong as possible. JW on the flank now, but will he be fast enough?
There, Crims gets himself 2 from the elevated position. Guardian with a trade on the quad though, but the flank is in, and that's him dead. 4-2 now as Fnatic start to scrape their way back, or 2-4 I should say, as it is the second round that Fnatic have claimed. And their money is looking fantastic, and they only stand to do more here as FaZe are pretty broke, and their mid-take did not work out against this setup from Golden and the lads.
Those are 2 difficult kills for Golden. It seems he saw just enough of the player emerging through the smoke as the flashbang came in, and then he's got to look directly above him to get the second one. So really strong stuff from him, and they've broken the money with FaZe. Great opportunity for the catch-up now for the CT side. How dangerous are these pistols of FaZe? Not that dangerous. 1 Glock, 2 P250s. We're asking much of them to have significant impact in this round. And Fnatic need to survive in the numbers. Still early on, and their money is not quite secure just yet. For the most part, Fnatic are playing the ranged game as far away as possible. Only JW will be brazen enough for a forward position.
Just waiting and out there. He hears so many footsteps. Good info for his teammates who are supporting him as well. Looking to perhaps close down some of those frags. There is an easy one. There's exactly what's going on there. Not all that much here that FaZe can offer. Everyone's slowly going down one by one. And one thing about Golden, I think he is the guy that has made the biggest plays for Fnatic so far in this map, is obviously being a very new player to the Tier 1 scene. Again, and taking on the IGL mantle as well. He's been really impressive from an individual skill perspective. This is a bit awkward. Golden has shown that he can frag with the best of them, which is a very, very highly valued quality for an in-game leader, someone who also can do the shot calling.
2 players lost for Fnatic. The bomb is not in a position where Lekro wants to hold on to it because he has an AWP. It's an awkward range for him. Risky range, 1v1 versus a known Deagle. But Golden will clean up. 1 round now between the 2 sides. FaZe back on the buy. The AK's out once again. Karrigan, only man not to buy yet, and he doesn't have money to drop the AWP for Guardian. Do you wonder if Guardian's still a stranger to cash, considering his previous team's abandonment of the map? Perhaps much to learn. Lekro continues to be the sole AWP, but this time he's towards the mid position. Do you wonder now if he's going to be the main AWPer perhaps on this map, but we'll have to wait and see because FaZe again are going straight for the charge towards A. The numbers game working out so far.
Golden goes down immediately, but Lekro quick to it. Trading out though. FaZe in a 3 versus 3 post-plant situation. That's a good spot to be in. Now the rotation comes in, and there's a mad dash from olofmeister towards the middle position. He could be quite problematic as Fnatic don't have anybody around that spot, but looks like he will go all the way around towards T-main, which is actually quite important because there could have been a CT going for that position already, so he's going to eliminate the possibility of any flanks from that position. So he serves to confirm the information here for FaZe as they await Fnatic's retake effort.
That bomb is really ticked already, so Fnatic needs to get out of there. That's an extra kill for Crims. He can consider it a bonus one. Flusher for looking for more, and he will deliver it. So they've got that out of it at least. So FaZe are making plays, very fast plays indeed. Just playing the numbers in trade game before Fnatic really even have half a second to react to anything.
It's kind of crazy though. FaZe have no money. They lost everyone in that round. No one had any money to begin with. Rain had to just drop an AK. Rain will probably be the only player who has actually maximum grenades, I think. Or actually, looks like Olof has it as well. He was the guy that did get the drop from Rain. Everybody else, we've got 2 Galils. They can't afford maximum utility, so not the best scenario in the world for FaZe, and they may consider going for a fast plate again here to try to mitigate that disadvantage.
Molotov hasn't really spread as much as it might have otherwise. Grenades, inconsistent. Golden will get traded. It was a 1-3-1 start from Fnatic once again. Crimson's made his way into B, I think, through the middle area. So the CTs, I wouldn't say they've abandoned mid, but they've got less than ideal angles. This is a common position for Flusher. Likes to have delayed peaks from this position. Maybe he'll catch olofmeister off guard later on. FaZe slowing it down for the time being in this 4-on-4 scenario. Crims is in a forward position towards B, and he seems to be perhaps looking for some info, maybe to rotate an extra player. Maybe Flusher will be rotating away soon.
JW, opportunistic kill, the re-peek there from olofmeister, rather the trade frag is going to be good. Did lose a chunk of health though. It was a pretty awesome play from JW. Another thing, they'll have suspect the creep through towards the door position here, especially with Olof making noise towards the B position. He dropped his pistol there. I think that was to fake the bomb being dropped, perhaps, towards the B position. If that's the case, that's really smart from olofmeister.
Almost definitely it was. I do believe it is exactly the same sound. Lekro spotting 2 players, delivering a kill onto 1. That's the bomb on the radar as well. Crims and Flusher rotating, but can they get there fast enough? Not to save Lekro. Flusher making his way towards Car. Crims on the flank. olofmeister staying in main by the lockers now. Will Crims be ready for this position? Flush has seen nothing towards Khan, chosen to go through short, maybe in case of somebody behind the box. Crims, he's got 2 angles to cover, but Olofmeister looking the wrong way, makes it a 2 versus 1. Another Planters on the side, Guardian with a massive snap. 1-on-1 now, Crims is in a difficult situation, and Guardian will deliver the kill. Really strong stuff from Guardian. Much needed round for FaZe Clan. That was tight for both teams, but it's FaZe who come out on top.
Yeah, that is definitely a big clutch from the man Guardian. You love to see it when he's in form and feeling his game out, and that snap, it just tells you that in just one short passage of play. That's also quite the hard spot that you can see Crims was trying to juke the shot there, but Guardian landed it anyway. 6-3 the score for FaZe, as they have now pressed Fnatic's economy to the brink. They are not really in a good place from that, and it's going to be difficult to fight their way back. So FaZe should realize that they'll be up against a pretty awful buy in this situation. So what do? They haven't really had much utility in, I would say, for most of this game. FaZe have not been in a position where they've ever snowballed their own economy. So what are they going to be up to?
Technical pause as I think JW's PC is being restarted. So we will be maybe a minute. You can see who's leading on the board at the moment. The yellow boxes tell the story.
And it was, I forget who said it actually. I think someone on the desk mentioned that one of the reasons why Olof can add so much to this is his play around middle, and that is something that FaZe have been going for repeatedly. He's been very successful in the refragging efforts and just general pushing in that position, and you can see it here on the scoreboard.
I was going to say Olof on the CT side for GoTV, but 15 kills, way ahead of anybody else, more than double anyone else on the server. Seems it's time to be watching Olofmeister now instead. So hopefully JW will be back into the game soon. The admin's there with his phone for Steam Guard login.
I do wonder if we'll see like a quick B round or something like that from FaZe, just something that's a bit explosive to just remove some of the variance that you can face when you're up against the pistols. Because it's pretty unlikely that you'll see a stack, and even if there is a stack, if you use nades correctly, when you take checkers and you start throwing all the Molotovs onto the bomb site, there's really nowhere to stand for the CTs. So something that's short and sweet could be a good responsive for FaZe to try to just shut this round down and eliminate any sneaky plays. Because especially if you've got Lekro, let's say, on a deagle, and you let him work that deagle for a minute and 10 seconds or something, that's a lot of time for a guy like Lekro to find damage and to create awkward scenarios for you.
And here we are back into the game. 3-2-6. Still recoverable for Fnatic, but doesn't bode well. They have not had all the success in the world on their buy rounds, and FaZe have done a good job of the, essentially, A rushes to cause anarchy. Can't really make mid-round calls if rush A is what's happening. So it will be an A stack from the CT side, maybe because of how fond FaZe are of it. Always nice if you can get a Molotov towards the forklift position, but maybe it won't be necessary. The push coming in for the CT side, Karrigan backing off. Got support from Guardian as well, so 2 of these 3 kills. Karrigan did get his bell rung down to full HP now, but he can let his team clean up the rest being Crims. Not spotted just yet. There he is, got 1 kill. Can he get a second one out of this? No more bullets in the gun, unfortunately for him. Another round in the bag for FaZe Clan.
Yeah, that went really well, and again, just goes to show, if you're running into a stack, but you're doing well with some grenades, you can be fine. So, I like that we also saw a pretty minimum investment from Fnatic, because that does allow JW to have the AWP, it allows for extra grenades, so that's really good to see. And it also shows that they have confidence in these buy rounds. I have noted a lack of kits though, and 3 players without any helmets, and Rain still has a MAC-10.
So we can expect to see some aggression from Rain then. He may be leading the charge towards the B bomb site, throwing the bomb to his teammate, so he can get in there. But there's an early smoke grenade from Flusher, so any aggression towards B may be delayed again, 18 seconds or so. JW on the AWP now. I think for the first time in this half so far, we've seen Lekro wielding it on a number of occasions in a number of positions, but we've got a 2-2-1 set up from Fnatic, and that's the 2 over towards A on the small screen there. Lekro boosted over a double stack.
Just starting to play this out quite slowly here. FaZe, they've got Olofmeister making plays towards B at the same time. Guardian in mid, and Nico also winning his battle there. That's middle well and truly in control. And I think that it did feel as though FaZe wanted to go and split B at the beginning of the round. We saw them with early B storage control, and they've eliminated the ability for any people to be hiding in the checkers area or lurking around at all. So really nice round from that sense in FaZe. They've now secured that B bomb site. There isn't really too much that Fnatic can offer up here in a retake effort. Should surely be that saving.
Yeah, 5 versus 3. FaZe Clan have swiftly taken the options away from Fnatic, but it might be a case of almost hiding in plain sight, where rather than running away to the other side of the map, they'll just stay where they are. They feel they have a reasonable defense from their current positions. However, a Guardian is lurking, and now one player may be trapped in the middle position as Guardian reaggresses. And there's one kill from Guardian, but there's one more to find. So these saved guns may not be saved after all for Fnatic. Flusher wondering what has become of his brethren.
I really liked this round from FaZe just because they play it slow, like what olofmeister was doing towards B storage. He can do that same play by himself, clearing out checkers, you know, just making sure that no one's around, getting information. He can do that play in rounds where his team does want to go for the B split, where it looks good for the B split, or he can do it in rounds where they want to do other stuff as well. Like it's never going to be a big tell for the opposition. And what it does do is it, in fact, makes everything even more obscure because he's taking away information from them. And one thing that Fnatic may consider is to try to punish those plays. Try to get a two-man push, three-man push early into the round to just eliminate the single man that's trying to work that area with utility. And that could be something they can think about going forwards. But I suppose there's a lot more to think about going forwards as well. So FaZe have been doing a lot right.
Yeah, we are running out of rounds in this first half, and Fnatic only have 3 on the board so far. And this is not a buy round for them. So we're looking at 3-9 scoreline as far as the Swedes are concerned, or at least most of them. olofmeister on 16 kills now. Guardian trying to catch up, but olofmeister appears to be pulling away once again.
He's doing a great job. Another nice snap from him in middle, and this has been another big dilemma for the Fnatic side, is that FaZe's mid takes early into the round have been very effective, and that's also something, I mean, we can see that FaZe are generally starting to shift towards B plays. In the first portion of this half, we saw a lot of bias towards A, but now they're switching things up. And that's definitely going to be throwing Fnatic off a little bit moving forwards. And looks like FaZe have done well to shut down this round and eliminate any variables that could have come, you know, with those lurking pistols. Just get in there, get that bomb down, and then there's nothing really that the Deagles can do.
Well, that one's over with, and it's buy time. JW on $6,000, so one would expect at least one sniper rifle. But what is the key to success here for Fnatic? They've tried a 1-3-1 setup with mixed results in the middle area, and that's where there's been a war of attrition. They've had one AWP over towards A, they've had AWP towards mid, but nothing quite works out. But the main problem has been rushes of the A site. Are they going to get paranoid about it now? Are they going to have more people towards A? Are FaZe going to do something completely opposite to throw them off? Indeed, it seems Fnatic will continue with a 2-2-1 rather than a 1-3-1. But FaZe may take it slow. Rain and Karrigan lining up like they might go for a wall of smoke in the middle area, perhaps. Let's have a look. There we go. Wall of smoke. So different strategies, but still a mid-take from FaZe.
FaZe, ooh, hello. JW with a nice little spray through the smoke there, finding himself a headshot. Must be nice. A lot of trouble here for FaZe. Lots of damage being done by the utility usage of Fnatic as well. Now they're repositioning more and more players towards the A side of the map here, so really looks very strong for Fnatic. The only way for this to really go wrong is if Guardian does find a pick, but out comes the Molotov, looks to the other side, and just like that, a 1-2 punch, sets it up, knocks it down. FaZe in a 4v4 now, and a minute to play with, so they don't have to commit into A. The only issue is that in all this time, they've completely given up their presence towards B storage and mid.
olofmeister is low on health, so Guardian has given him the AWP. So he doesn't have to take duels necessarily, as one would with a rifle. 40 seconds remain. FaZe look for an opening towards the middle position in this 4 versus 4. Crims spots Guardian from the sandbags position. Is there a Molotov? He throws an aggressive flashbangs, which he can peek behind, but doesn't know there's another player boosted. However, it's a 3. Okay, now it's a 2 versus 2. 2 very quick frags. Golden, though, he's still on the A side. Does Rain know that someone is there? He does now. Great headshot, and this is a winnable round for FaZe.
And when it comes to Olaf now, does indeed have that AWP, and he could be minding the cross. And flusha has only an HE grenade. There it goes, sailing towards the back of quad. Not enough damage, and flusha is going to be very hard-pressed to somehow beat out this crossfire that has been set up between the two FaZe players. Rain has to watch close. Olafmeister has his 6. And there's nothing much that flusha really has that he can do here. He's going to jump across, though. Maybe this is the only play. Jumps on top of Rain. But still, Olafmeister, despite flusha's creativity and finding a way around the situation, still will fall to the AWP.
flusha's grenade did 0 damage.
Did it actually do 0?
It did 0 damage. Rain had 40 HP, and it did nothing. I can only assume that it went, because the defense has different levels, so I can only assume it went over part of defense, because it did not do a single point of damage. And you can see the frustration on flusha. He feels like that should have been his round, maybe wondering what happened to his grenade. And because it didn't go his way, the score is 3-10. Fnatic probably felt confident going into Cash, but has not been the story as told by FaZe Clan.
Yeah, they've been playing amazing, to be honest. It's really impressive, especially pulling back that last round. Ooh, hello. Well, the Deagles are always there to serve the Fnatic side. JW repositions, they're looking for more damage around the side of the smoke. This is an opportunity, there it is. Gets himself the AK out as well. Going for a close position here. Sneaky stuff from JW, they'll never suspect this. NiKo, he's a free one, surely, but Olafmeister certainly will be. Out comes the Deagle once again. JW keeps pressing forwards, making plays. He's just constricting them, distracting them for Crims to sneak up on the flank. What a round.
I don't know what I just saw, but what's important is that Fnatic are giving themselves a chance. They have an opportunity for 5 rounds, and at this point, you've got to take it. That's all you can get, so focus on the future. Crims with the CZ, not an easy task, that first kill, of course. Guardian wasn't looking his way, but there we go. Lecro on the AWP once again. JW has an AWP and a rifle, and he's dragging one along with the other. Or he was at least. That's a very deep grenade from flusha. Nice pop flash though. Blinds everyone. Rain, you'll say yes, we are here. There's a fight though, a flying Crims, not enough. flusha trading through the smoke. 4 versus 3. Advantage Fnatic for the time being.
This is cool though for FaZe, because one thing they should realize is that with so much distraction towards B, it is quite likely that Fnatic will have a light to middle presence, so there is a possibility to actually work that. But so far they are fairly spread out. But having NiKo deep in checkers will afford them some options here later into the round. NiKo can't really do much just yet. As time goes on. Ooh, okay, they seem to really have a... Oh my god, JW absolutely knew. NiKo was not making any sound, sort of trying to just plant the seed of doubt, but there was never any doubt from JW.
Well then, 2 players left. Guardian taking big damage as well. Death by paper cuts. And they seem to be big cuts. 35 seconds, 2 versus 4. Still doable for FaZe Clan. JW, though, has a nice angle in the vents. flusha taken out elsewhere. 20 seconds now for FaZe. Surely B is their only option, surely. Olafmeister rotating. Does JW get the sound cues? It seems Guardian is going to sell fake towards A. He's going to die for his country. Spotting a play on the high ground, dropping to the low. He can't even offer the fake, or can he? They're rotating out of the B bomb site, but JW's there. JW was the worst case scenario. He was the big red button, and he will win round number 5 for Fnatic.
Right, so I mean, I think we saw maybe 2 rounds, one from Fnatic where they had pistols and sort of hit some Deagle shots and so on. One early on and one much later. So despite having the 5-10 scoreline, we didn't really see much consistency. We didn't really see a way that Fnatic had solved FaZe. I think it was only really that very last round where we saw, you know, proper buy rounds won by Fnatic. So not a good look for them, does not bode well into this second half. So much pressure on their shoulders to win this pistol round. And it's going to be interesting what strategy they choose. Maybe they'll just run into one of the sites. Maybe they'll just keep it simple.
See discussion amongst the teams. It's Fnatic who are facing the commentary desk and FaZe on the other side of the studio. I do not, however, understand Swedish.
Oh, I don't understand that. That means come on, boys. Come here, nu.
Golden. Smoke double flash on the T side. Karrigan with a smoke and a defuse kit. Everybody else on Kevlar so far. JW hasn't bought yet. We have seen a few people forget to buy in pistol rounds, and seen a few people forget to buy in buy rounds. Chris J. Yeah, JW actually forgot how to run back and pick up some Kevlar, so he did remember in the end. I thought it was a next level save for AWP.
No, that's not a thing. That would never be a thing. Oh man, I know you like to do that sometimes, James.
Guardian's already pushed through into the outside of B. So there's a crossfire, but it's not quite working out just yet. Karrigan still has some range on these Glocks. Guardian taking out one player. He's got a nice cross to the site as well, so maybe he can do more. In the meantime, JW's pushed through to CT, but he's got to rely on his teammates to deliver a bomb plant. And then he can start to flank. He's doing that. There goes Olaf Meister. 2 versus 4 now. Guardian's position is known. Not sure about Nico, though. In the middle position, how much can he expect to do? Making sure no one is coming from his 6. And he will move to his 12. And there's the Fnatic Cry doing the commentary for us. Jumpy, pretty happy with that one. Solid start from Fnatic.
Absolutely, it's exactly what they needed, exactly what they wanted, but they have to contest against the Eagles now that have been collected by FaZe. They'll pick up 1 on 2. In fact, everybody has a Deagle except Guardian at the moment, who is saving for the AWP. He's got an HE though. And Fnatic, they better have a good anti-eco because this can be scary.
Khan is in the building as well, for those of you Fnatic fans. Saw him walking about earlier. Always traveling the globe, but he's here with the CS team for the major, which is always awesome to see. Guardian with a high explosive grenade. Some Deagles here and there. 4 Deagles, a quartet of Deagles perhaps.
It begins, James, it begins. There's number 1 from Nico. Ooh, hello. Nice one.
Nico Deagles on cash. We've seen it before. This time he's on the A-bomb site though. Looking for a different highlight reel perhaps. Fnatic still continuing slow. They have time to play with.
It's really burning that time, and nothing really being given away here from the FaZe side of things. Rain does get some info, but that's all they want is that information. They don't want to take a draw just yet, but they get into position ahead of time. Guardian on the bomb site, which he had one of the Deagles, I imagine, from this position, but perhaps he can serve to bait for his teammates. Rain goes in, looking for some shots. Karrigan from up high as well. Rain now smoked away, and Guardian cleared off the site. So now there is passage for Fnatic to get the bomb plant, and looks like they'll make it work. The Deagle danger has been evaded.
Can of spam from Rain, but there were no takers. Another round. So you can see Guardian has 3450 in the bank, so he's going to be really good for the AWP in the next round. We'll be curious to see how he plays out. Go TV picks for this half then. I'll leave them to you. 1 per side, 1 per team.
Let's see. I will take Nico. I will take JW. Why not? Don't have time to explain why, which...
It's the same as I did in the first one.
Well, there you go. I'll steal your explanations as well.
Oh no.
It's like the guns are being stolen potentially here by FaZe as their attack in towards the B side of things works out, but they still have to contend with Lekr and Crims. Fully healthed up, fully naded up. So lots of utility to use here to try to make their lives easier. Lots of footsteps here for Crims to hear as well. So he's going to be keeping an eye on the rotation. And that information will be fed back to Lekr, who will safely plant on A. And again, information confirmed even again. There should be no way for FaZe to win this. However, Nico does trade. There is a chance now.
Nico's not the one you want in the 1 versus 1, but Lekro's got the high ground advantage, and Nico surely can't be prepared for this. Lekro, where's he looking? There we go. Fnatic happy with that. I mean, they lost 4 players in a USP round, essentially, which does not bode well and does keep their economy honest. However, a win is a win. There's only 2 rounds now between these 2 sides. Guardian, indeed, on the AWP. Flusher and JW both have the money to buy, but Fnatic are going to start with a 5 AK buy. If they win the round, then maybe there'll be an opportunity to take that sniper rifle rather than buy it themselves. This is a big round.
One of the reasons why I think Nico can be good to watch is because the way that he plays the A site is very, very strong. Also, one of the best players, the best player at playing around the position as well on the CT side. But that's a point we can come back to later on. There's lots of pressure here from Fnatic into the B bomb site. Rain playing checkers. He suspects that they may be very close. Can ask for a pop flash from his teammate on the bomb site, which will be Guardian. Oh, he actually just goes with that pop flash. Beautiful stuff. Gets himself a kill from it. Gets more information. Another flashbang out there, but it won't save him from Lekro.
Guardian is here to hold down the fort in the meantime. And Golden's got the bomb, so he can't commit too much in this situation, because if he loses a bomb, maybe they lose the round. But how does he escape now? He's on his own. Okay, there's a smoke down. There's a smoke down, but he's still not crossing, and there's the bomb gone. Guardian will probably post up and just hold that angle once again. Although, switch it up. You've got Carrigan there as well for support. Chris getting taken down elsewhere. JW was maybe hoping for something eventually towards A, but it doesn't work out. I feel like while Golden was trapped in that position, Fnatic were expecting pushes elsewhere, knowing they were vulnerable, because Crims was in T Warehouse. You can see him on the radar a bit later on if it comes up on a replay, and he could have come for support for a flashbang or something, but you see Golden's here on his own. I think he had his Crims in T Warehouse there, just making sure the CTs are honest elsewhere. There's option A or option B. They took option A, and maybe B would have been better, but that is hindsight for you. Either way, it puts Fnatic back onto pistols, and the Deagles are out once again.
Yeah, they have to think twice about going towards B, but Guardian is going to be there. And the more of a presence Guardian has on that bomb site means the more that they can actually just take Rain away from that position, just allow Guardian to do it by himself, reinforcing middle, reinforcing the A site. It's a decent bit of nade damage there onto Crims as they look for Deagle frags in mid. And it's going to be hard to see them do much more than maybe get a couple kills with only pistols and no utility. And there it is. Carrigan kicks it off, looks confident there in middle. Just doing the dance here. The dance of death, perhaps, for Fnatic. Ill-equipped for this round. FaZe should be soon on to number 12. Another kill there. Nico wins the 1v1 against Lekro. You can see Fnatic's approach. Taking 1v1s where they can find them. Trying to get the Deagle headshot. Trying to get that damage. But alas, James, it does not work for them.
Behold the bomb, says Nico.
They've done that. They've actually done 0 damage. No one has taken any health damage on the CT side. Oh, okay, ruined. Ruined, thanks. Thanks, JW. Ruined.
Your statistics have been reduced to rubble, Dan. Reduced to rubble. And there's the man himself, Nico, number 2 in the world rankings this year. Maybe he's number 1 in your hearts, though. JW with the Milanese style watch bracelet. I respect that. I respect that. All right, then. Fnatic back on the buy. Can they make a game of this before FaZe run away with cash? 4 round deficit. Back on the 5 AKs once more. 2 players in mid for the CT side. Nico will be the Lone Ranger towards A for the time being. So it's a 1-2-2 setup from FaZe Clan.
Yeah, just keeping things pretty chilled out to begin with. Not going too close to the middle positions, just trying to get the information as and when it may come to them. And Fnatic going for that fast play into the A sites. FaZe, will they be ready for this? Well, yes, they've got 4 players ready, or behind the smokes to retake this. They will even go through the smokes. That may be a regret, but maybe not. Carrigan's in there with the help of Nico to clear up the offensive from Fnatic. Now it's just Flusher, gets caught from the back, and FaZe, that was to telegraph for them. They were so ready.
Headshots are real on the A site. Those AKs coming in handy for the CT side. They've got 3 of them in this round, and FaZe Clan are not the guys you want with AKs on their CT side. Why shoot 2 bullets when you only require 1? That's a question FaZe are asking. Fnatic on pistols once again, running out of rounds to lose at this point. One flash onto Golden. Could be an A main play. At the entrance to main, you can crouch and throw a pop flash, but it seems it will be squeaky. But Golden is A main with that flashbang, so love to see where he throws it. Okay, just a walk forward one in front of the door, and here come the pistols. How can they trade Nico after two of them go down? The bomb plant they should be good for. But what else can they get?
It's going to be tough to get too much here. The wrap from Carrier is strong. Just one player left at the core position. Letcro picks up the AK, already dinked through the side of the cover, and that's the end of him. Another one for FaZe on the board, and they are closing in now on victory. 2 rounds away from that. And Fnatic are going to really start to feel the pressure of this one. They do have money, at least. There is at least, you know, plenty of cash for them to buy in the remaining rounds.
Outside of the pistol and forced by Echo, Fnatic basically have not won a round in this half. Ignoring the pistol and the implicated rounds, it's 4-0. Fnatic need an answer. They need an answer, and they need one now. The Fnatic timeout for the time being. Perhaps discussing what can be the difference maker. JW with 6,000 in the bank. Are they going to go 5 AKs again? Or will he draw for the sniper rifle? No, they're sticking to their plan. They're confident it will work, but will it?
That is the question. Okay, Fnatic. Are they going to go for any mid shenanigans here? I think that could be a very good answer. Just get some map control first of all. Push FaZe back and away. Force FaZe to respond. Getting the quick 5v4 is a massive deal on the T side in any map, but on Cash, the CT response to that situation is very telegraphed. By the way, here goes that quick mid phase. What can they get from it? First frags go the way of FaZe. Complete failure here on middle for Fnatic. What are they left with? Flusher and JW. Desperation plays. JW, no, he has to do something. He has to do it now. Flusher out through the door as well to play off of. They do have the bomb. They could make a go of this. JW looks for the first frag.
Where does Flusher deploy his smoke? He's got to do it quickly before JW gets traded here. Finally, Carrigan goes down, looking for the trade back of JW, but there's not one yet. Nico comes in late as he looks towards the car position, and that leaves Flusher 1 versus 3. He has used his smoke grenade, maybe on the upper side of the red container. Dancing around now, 2 more to find. Nico and Guardian. Will Guardian hold the angle while Nico pushes? Still time for these players, but not much. The Molotov may force Flusher out, although hasn't really gone into his position. They might think it's clear. They've got to get it on this bomb, otherwise the match might be lost already. The round, sorry. Nico manages to trade. Is there time, though? It's going to be a close one.
I think he's just about got it. Ooh, that's a close one. What a beautiful attempt from Flusher. You have to give it to Flusher. He played that so incredibly well. He's definitely one of the smartest players in the game, and man, it's really impressive to watch him make these plays. You can see that here in this position, as you said, James. He doesn't know 100% that Molotov's not going to spread to him. But he's just saying, well, if it does, I will have to peek at that point. But until then, I'm not going to doubt it. I'm just going to stay in this position and just wait for the play to be made. But still, it's a very harrowing scoreline for Fnatic. They are so many rounds behind. And one more for FaZe is all that's needed to take this match.
1-2-2. Set up from FaZe again. Failed flashbang in mid, and that might delay a push. There are 7 smokes live on the map at the moment, and that means variant, especially when there's an aggressive T side, but variant still on Fnatic. Almost a 2-man spray down for Rain, but Guardian is here as well. Have they heard the scope? Trying to reposition. The CZ takes too long to draw it. Back to the AWP. JW 1 versus 4. Take Guardian away, but he's lost the bomb. Trying to reset the situation. He's got time. Doesn't have friends, doesn't have a very good chance of winning this round.
Really cool to see that aggressive play towards B storage from FaZe. Really caught Fnatic off guard, but maybe JW can get something going here. Nico ready and waiting though. The smoke is such an issue for JW. He can't really easily push through it. Finds the timing. Nico jumping up. That is perfect for Fnatic. Or rather JW. I mean, he's got maybe an opportunity here, but there's 40 seconds. Still has to pick up the bomb. The question is whether there's an angle from the FaZe defenders on the bomb. It looks like there very well is. How does JW do this here? He's going to have to be quite fortunate in his approach. 30 seconds to go. Carrigan on the angle with the AWP. Oh, misses the shot. Still chances here for JW. But no nades makes this very difficult. Has to keep facing these open areas. 20 seconds to run all the way to A. Surely not.
Surely he can't do this. I don't think there's time. He's going as fast as he can. Olofmeister gets the sound cues, and he's going to have the angle, even if there was time, which I don't think there is. Olofmeister with the pre-fire there, and no, there isn't time. He was asking too much of himself, unfortunately. Oh, 1 second. Carrigan was on the car position as well, but it doesn't matter now. 16-8 is the scoreline, and that was pretty much all FaZe Clan.
Yeah, they had a beautiful T side, lots of aggression, and one of the key things, I mean, they highlighted it on the desk, Olofmeister on middle. I think that was really the big difference maker. We saw him do incredible damage there, and it was very impressive overall. But to talk more on that after the break, it's the analysts.
Блять, стоит.
Давлю его слева.
Зевс, ребят.
Найс! Найс!
Найс!
Найс!
Найс!
Найс! Найс!
Найс!
Найс!
Nice, nice. Nice, boys. Nice. Nice.
Nice, boys. Come on.
Nice. Nice.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice, boys.
Yeah.
Nice. 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 Nice.
Nice.
Nice. Nice.
Nice, boys. Nice.
Nice. Nice. Nice. Nice.
So it'd be nice if you were to join us at the ELEAGUE Major in Boston. Tickets still available, eleague.com/major to get yours. And dear players, with all that money you're making these days, please get yourself a Taurus, eh? Just, you know, spend it where it needs to be spent. Anyway, joining us on the desk now, we have got Anders joining us alongside Janko. So there you have it, FaZe, business as usual now. Starting to look a bit more like the well-oiled machine that we know them to be. Those jitters that they had earlier in the tournament seem to have fallen by the wayside, and they made short work of Fnatic in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was a little bit worried about FaZe. I thought they looked a little bit weird last week, so I wasn't 100% sure that they were going to come into it, and I wasn't exactly sure where Fnatic were going to be either. So I thought this could be, you know, a bit of an interesting game, but there were some moments where Fnatic looked like they were going to, you know, do a bit better. Some big clutches that they lost. Apart from that, FaZe just looked brilliant. So not much to say about that.
Yeah,
I think obviously FaZe recently has a great track record versus Fnatic, knocking them out 2 times in the playoffs in best-of-3 series. So they're obviously going to be very comfortable coming into this one. I think a big sign for FaZe for this tournament is the fact that they're willing to play cash and train in best-of-1s, which have been 2 of their weaker maps so far in their pool. So that tells you they've been working a lot on those maps. They feel confident to play them, you know, in a best-of-1 situation. So if they have really improved their map pool by that much, if other maps are weaker for them, that's going to make them a very, very dangerous team in this tournament.
Must have been tough for Fnatic, obviously, you know, kind of, they're used to playing how FaZe used to play, but they're not quite the same players that they used to be. Meanwhile, FaZe very much in the ascendancy. You can see there, Olofmeister, crazy performance against his old colleagues. So FaZe looking very strong indeed. And let's take a look at the standings and see where we are so far. And you can see, well,
that means all the Legends teams have lost in the first 4 rounds.
You've read my mind, Anders. That's indeed a point I was going to make out. But yes, all the Legends teams have lost so far. So we've had a series of upsets. I mean, I don't think necessarily they're all upsets. I mean, you would expect FaZe to beat Fnatic, and I, you know, picked Liquid and Vegas Squadron. But what a crazy start. And I suppose we have got a little bit of time. We can theorize as to why this might be. Why do you think the Legends teams are coming?
Well, I think there's a reason why the last major had the title of the upset major, right? Sure. We had so many upsets throughout that tournament that some teams made legend status that, you know, otherwise probably wouldn't make. So I think we see it also from the results of some of those teams after that major ended. The likes of Big never really made any splashes in big international tournaments. Virtus.Pro, same, besides Epicenter. So having teams like FaZe in the challenger stage doesn't, you know, help either. So I think that's the main reason, pretty much.
Anders?
I mean, I think that's a huge part of the explanation, but the other part I think has to do with the fact that if sort of the first wave of global offensive Counter-Strike was just all the ex-pros coming in from Source and 1.6, and then they started playing the game, so that was like the first generation of global offensive players. Well, now we're seeing sort of like a true second wave of up-and-coming players that you haven't really heard of. They've only ever played global offensive. They've never played Source or 1.6, and they're actually catching up, and they're becoming very good, and they can create like individual teams that, you know, just are actually at the level. That's exciting. You know, I mean, I realize people get very upset when their favorite teams lose, but it is kind of a good sign sort of long-term. Like, it's definitely exciting.
Oh, sure, and I think it's worth mentioning as well, of course, the Legends teams have just got here. Meanwhile, the teams they're playing against, you know, they've had the benefit of being here a week already, playing some competitive games and being incredibly sharp. So, anyway, let's change gear a little bit. Next up, we are going to have Astralis versus Mouse, and there's one player everybody's been wanting a check on. Device is back from illness, and he spoke with Smix earlier today.
Hey Device, first of all, it's so great to see you back with the team and being healthy again. I read that because of your illness in 2017, you actually played with the pain throughout the year. So I actually don't think a lot of people realize that. So can you tell us what it was like and how it affected you both physically and mentally to be able to do that?
I think a little bit like Fer, I kind of kept it for myself in the beginning because I thought it was going to go over. But if we talk about how it affected me, it affected me mostly when I was in the deeper runs of tournaments because it's the stomach and being in new conditions and especially with food and so on, it's hard and the body is getting really stressed. So I had more pain when we were deeper in the tournaments, but I just really want to look forward to just being without that as I'm like that right now, and I'm just looking forward to moving on.
And ultimately, we saw that because of that, I mean, it's so great to see you better, but I want to ask, because at the end, we saw that you had to actually take some time off. What was it like as a player, as a core member of the team, to not be able to join your team towards the end of the year?
It was really tough. It was a tough decision. I should probably also have skipped IM Oakland. It was my own decision to go there because I was feeling better, but ultimately it just made me feel worse. But I feel like I, in some way, let the team down, and I hate that. I hated some way watching them play because when they did bad, I just wanted to be there with them and be there when it was good and also when it was bad. So also missing the 2 events in Denmark was really rough for me, and being alone or being at home and at hospitals and so on, you just have a lot of time to just feel bad. So I'm just really happy that I'm here right now. I'm looking forward to playing.
I'm sure all the Astralis fans feel the same way. So glad that you're better now. What has it been like playing with the team again, with the practice? Is everything going smoothly?
Yeah, I would say. Obviously, I played a lot when I was home as well, so I didn't really get out of shape. And I was just looking forward to the new year so we could start practicing. We had a boot camp, and we did a lot of new things. Dupree with the AWP, me back to being a rifler and so on. So, so yeah, I would say we are really looking forward to showing what we have in store for you guys.
Sounds great. Great to see you back, and good luck today.
So yeah, there was a big question mark about Astralis. In fact, they didn't get talked about a lot because people weren't sure whether or not they would be playing with their coach as well. In the end, Device has battled back from all of his period of ill health, and people are going to be hoping that he can sort of push Astralis forward. Now, Anders, I will say this, I've been told that Dupree's going to be taking the primary AWPing role. You saw him out at the Blast doing that. Turns out he's pretty good at it.
Yeah, he was out of his mind. Actually, you read my mind as well. I was about to say that was the one good thing that came out of all of this, is the fact that Dupree, I mean, he's been talking about it for a while, but I always just thought he was losing his mind. But now that we got to see him actually do it, and with no backup, you know, there's no falling back, you just have to take it on yourself. And he just wrecked whole teams in those Blast games. That was unbelievable. So yeah, that's very exciting. I think that's a good choice. I definitely would keep him on that. I always had the suspicion anyway that Device was sort of like halfway in, halfway out on the whole open question, you know?
Yeah, in Yanko, I mean, they've got so much strength and depth, this team. Assuming Device can stay fit and healthy with no relapses, they are up there with the favorites, right?
Absolutely. I think it's very impressive, the fact that he played with that illness or sickness, however you want to call it, for the majority of past years, similar to Fur. But I think Device is one of the best AWPers in the world when it comes to playing on the CT side and being mobile around the map. I think that it's very difficult for their opponents when they play the T side to predict where he's going to be, and that's such a huge weapon for you to have. It really makes it more difficult to play against. So I'm not sure if Dupree will be able to execute in that same way. And also, yes, Blast, great performance, but that was a one-off. They were playing with a standing, no pressure really on him. Now you're at the major, it's best of ones. You don't really have a lot of room to get into it or room for mistakes. So it's going to be interesting to see how his form is going to look like coming into this one.
So that's a situation we'll definitely monitor, but we know Astralis is a very tactical team, and we're going to take a closer look at that now with Map Tactics presented by the US Air Force.
Yes, indeed, and what we have here is an earlier game that was actually on cash, and it's obviously, you know, just a fairly basic principle that we often see ignored even at a pro level, which is a little bit annoying. That's why I picked this round. I thought it was worth watching. This is FaZe putting so much pressure on the B bomb side, and there's going to be an initial battle going on over here, which will leave FaZe at a one-man advantage. You see this big fight that's coming in, and FaZe react very well to this. They get that early kill. There's a bit of a back and forth here, and ultimately there's that smoke. I mean, that smoke's going to be really, really important right here, because at this moment in time, it's very hard for Astralis to know what's happening on the other side. Like, they don't know if the FaZe team is still on the other side waiting, or if they've fallen back, so they kind of are just lingering a little bit. Now, eventually, they have to make a call. If they just sort of stay spread out across the map, that's not going to be a good thing. They still don't know what's happening on the other side of the smoke, as FaZe are falling back. The one thing you could blame FaZe for here, maybe, is that they're a little bit slow to start to make this rotation. They go all the way around, like all the way through T-spawn. Does take a little bit of extra time. But ultimately, Astralis decide, okay, listen, we don't know what's happening. We've got to roll the dice. Instead of just holding, you know, mid and B a little bit, we're just going to sort of go hard on the A-bomb site. And they actually get there in perfect timing. So this is just, you know, a bit of a principle, really. If you're down on the CT side and you don't know what's happening, sometimes it is just worth to take that gamble. And ultimately, that's what they even start to rotate Glaive out. He's been spotting out in B for a long time, hasn't seen anyone after the smoke is gone. So eventually, he's just going to try and join the rest of the team. And you can see their positioning, and we can credit some of this also just to sort of, you know, fortunate timing. But really, this is how it all ends up. They are going to be trying to put 3 men out of the doorways just as Device and Sip are in the right position. So all of this is very well timed, partly based on a gamble, but I think that's something that's worth sort of holding on to and realizing that that's worth having in your pocket somewhere. Just instead of playing a default, you know, 1A, 1 mid, 1B, that would have been a mistake, I think. So yeah, roll the dice and see what happens. This time it works out great for them.
Yeah, Zipnik's an absolute monster as well, of course. That's the thing with Astralis. So much strength in depth, Janko, and they are a fantastic tactical team, no doubt about it.
Absolutely, it's been one of their main strengths throughout their, you know, tenure of the roster, basically to an extent where you actually start to question them for it because they're so good fundamentally that teams can predict it, right? You know, Astralis is always going to make the sensible call, and then they would actually, you know, take that to their own advantage. And we could see Astralis trying to adjust to that later on in the year, but unfortunately towards the very end we got the Device being unable to attend a couple of tournaments, so we couldn't really see, you know, how Astralis is going to end the year, because at the beginning they were the world's best team, they won the major, 2 out of 3 tournaments and so forth, but that was it. No more championships for Astralis in 2017. I think we all expected more them at first place.
Well, they'll be looking to bounce back here. Tough opposition for them, though, Anders. Mousesports ended 2017 very strong. Have been up and down here, it's got to be said. Especially that loss against Space Soldiers, I was very surprised about. What have you made of them so far?
I still think they're an incredibly exciting team. I feel like there are some known quantities on this one. Well, maybe only one right now. I feel like I sort of know where Chris is, but I actually feel like the max level for all the other players, I think, is still sort of to be decided. So I think that's the most exciting thing about this team, is that they do just seem to have a very high P level, and some of their players are so young that they can still go quite far. So yeah, I would say they're definitely a dangerous team, especially if you get Chris and Oscar both on AWPs. Nobody wants to fight that, ever.
Yeah, and young talent as well. As I said earlier, they've got the youngest player here at the major. You know, I'm sure he'll be looking over at Astralis and wanting to kind of, you know, stamp his authority on a big tournament against similar players.
Yeah, not just the youngest player in terms of age, but also one of the newest players we have in the scene professionally. He only played professionally in the past year with Mousesports, so it's great to see how quickly he adjusted to the, you know, competitive environment. His game sense is really high for someone who doesn't have that much experience, and I favor Mousesports because yes, they had like 2 losses, but the thing is, you know, Cloud9 played really well, Space Soldiers as well. That was a very close game, but Mousesports were very dominant in their wins, very comfortable, and they didn't lose their cool, so to speak. So I think Mousesports is better than their record has shown at the new Challenger stage.
Well, it's an interesting map that we're going to be going to. Mousesports have selected Cash. Astralis are going to be on that CT side. I see you thinking, Anders, your eyes rolled up into your head. Are you okay?
I would say in the past I would have not liked to have seen Cash out of Astralis.
Especially against the Mousesports.
Yeah, I just didn't feel like it was that. So I feel like they've improved quite a bit on it recently. So I'm alright with the map pick. I feel like this can be an interesting game.
Janko, your reaction?
Yeah, I think it's been one of the weaker maps for Astralis, but they have most likely put in a lot of work on that map. We saw them play it against FaZe in the Premier Grand Finals, and something very distinctive about Astralis there is on their CT side. They like to gamble a bit, you know, send even 3 or 4 players towards B, just full-on aggression, and that's something Mousesports need to be prepared for. That even if they get a couple of kills on a bomb side, there is a chance that, you know, the rest of the team is there as well. I think this is going to be a very interesting one. I picked out Mousesports in my predictions, so I'm going to stick with them.
I'm going to stick with that. I was going to say, you can change it. There's no rules here. It's anarchy on the desk. Anders, who are you going to go for?
You're really asking, eh?
I know it's... Come on, just say it.
I think Astralis are going to bring the Giga Smackdown up on Mousesports. I think it's going to be all Danish, this one.
All Danish, the Giga Smackdown. All right, well, look, we're going to go to a break now. When we come back, we're going to find out if Astralis can get a win in the column for the Legends. We'll see in just a few moments.
Welcome back, ladies and gents, to the Boost Mobile Caster Desk. I'm DDK, joined by James Bardolph, who is now without... Well, you were without your wetsuit last match as well, weren't you? It was a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was uncomfortable. It was hard to breathe, it was hard to think, and it was very, very warm.
So now you must be feeling great.
I feel better, yeah.
We have a really sick matchup as well. Mousesports, Astralis. Obviously, changes to Astralis as have been established. Do you think that Astralis in their new form can contest with what we've seen out of Mousesports recently, which has been impressive?
What's cool for Astralis is that actually, obviously, Dupree has less playtime as the sniper for Astralis than Device has. So any familiarity for their opponents goes out the window, and you don't necessarily know what to expect from Dupree in terms of style, in terms of decision-making and positioning. And that might give Astralis an extra advantage. Cash, though, nice open map. I think most of the sniper positions are known at this point, so maybe there is less opportunity for surprise. We'll have to wait and see. First, it's Mousesports starting on the T side of Cash. Chris with a flashbang to enable his teammates. And Rox again is the raid boss here with P250 armor.
This is an old school strat, actually. Used to see this quite a lot. It's fallen out of fashion a little bit lately, but, you know, pushing up middle, you know, setting up the A split, trying to catch any players in mid before you hit that A site. That's a good start here. Sunny going in with the help of Oscar. Now trying to keep Zipex at bay. Now the site is cleared as well, and things are looking fantastic.
And that might be something that Glaive wants to stop from happening. He might go for a late peek later on. Also, if you saw Sunny when he initially was holding an angle towards the car position, Oscar got the kills, but after the first kill, Sunny was somewhat delayed in going for the second player. Now, sometimes if you're looking at an angle which is covered in blood, it can be hard to see a player standing in front of it. So there's a command called R_clear decals, which removes bullet holes and blood, which can make it a lot easier to see in an angle such as that. Dust 2 is a common one on long A. So I have it bound to mouse 3 to my mouse wheel button. So I push that down and it clears the decals away. Can come in handy. They are client side, not server side, so it's all good, it's fine. So yes, I can only assume a number of people got a cheap helmet upgrade for Mousesports, and that might mean more rifles and more grenades, since they saved themselves $650.
Well, Chris J he actually left $300 in the tank. He didn't actually spend all of his money. He dropped a P250 and bought like 1 grenade, I think. So pretty cool, very optimized strats coming out of Mousesports. And
that's what I do as well, actually. Sorry to interrupt you, Dan. I mentioned this before. Sometimes I leave 300 in the hole because worst case scenario, you don't kill anyone, you lose the round, you can still buy a scalp in the next round. Maybe it was that, but he has forgotten to buy on a buy round before, so you never know with Chris J.
And just opening up with a very passive approach, making sure that they don't get caught off guard by any aggression. And now we will see Mousesports starting to gather up to run a set piece on the A site. And this is, they have all the Molotovs, so they should be able to clear all the positions. Even if they run into a full 5-man stack, if all the grenades land correctly, it should still be fine. And you can see that the initial use of utility is finding the space that they want in the bomb site, but they still must clear behind the break escape. That could be the hardest job, but still, it is easily done here by Stiko, but not so much for his teammates. Sunny and Chris J both going down to the CZs. Astralis providing a lot of trouble here. Now Oscar, he's had enough! He's had enough with the help of Stiko. Looks like everything should be okay.
I wouldn't say so, Dan, because Kiabi doesn't need to land too many bullets to kill any of these players. Stiko, the first man to have a look, see what's going on. Gets his bell rung, goes down to red, goes down to dead. Kiabi low health, but so are these players. Next bullet wins, surely. Unless it's Kiabi, he's got 2 to find. Backing up now, the bomb has to get planted. He knows that, so he can back off and try and get himself a 1 versus 1. He may reset the situation and head in another direction, or will he? 11 bullets in his magazine. There's no time to reload. He's got to find a 1 versus 1. But he won't. Well, he will, but Oscar will have the superior angle. Crisis averted for Mousesports.
The crazy thing, I think no one realized that Oscar had a smoke that entire time. He could have easily just smoked the top of Highway and just watched that push whilst his teammate goes and plants the bomb. Because there's a window there where that smoke, if he actually goes for the full rotation, that's like a 15-second rotation all the way around to car or around to A main. So it only could be the case that they just didn't realize that Oscar had a smoke, perhaps. But either way, the catastrophe has been averted. 2-0 for Mousesports, and now they only have to worry about stock USPs. What's the worst that could happen?
Look at this from Astralis. They've got 4 people in the sandbags position.
That's
I have
awesome.
never seen that
awesome.
in my entire life. I need to see a 3D position of that, because where are they even standing? Are they on top of each other? What is going on? There we go. Look at that. Who knew there was even space for 4 people to be behind the sandbags? That is super awesome. We always see, well, we can often see fun things from Astralis. A USP round, minimal investment. A quick look at the money. And Kiabi's got 2,500, but an AWP may be unlikely in the first round. The first buy round, sorry, from Astralis.
I kind of like it because I think that teams don't do setups on rounds like this enough, where you say, okay, our setup is to get 1 kill, steal the gun, and then protect it. Because you also don't want to give away money, so you actually kind of just want to lose the round without like, dying in a spot where if you are taking a fight, it's highly favorable for you, and you can do that by being very sneaky and stacking lots of players. But you see those draws will spread out, and they are unable to find any of the frags that they wanted, which is unfortunate for them. Just Device now left alive.
It's interesting that Rops went all the way outside B to hunt a player with a USP alone with an AK. How important is the kill? It is a question to be answered by every team. Leave them to make their own decisions. Well, there we go. Buy round time. Zipex last to buy, 4,500 in the bank, or just north of that. So let's see what Mousesports have to offer their opponent. Chris J will be continuing with the UMP, perhaps expecting a lack of helmets, and he'll be right to some degree. Zipex and Glaive are helmetless, which means that his UMP will have extended power against those 2 players.
Fast one from the Mouse, it seems. The players ready for Naze onto the A site for a set piece of some description. There's also ways to play this. They could interpret and say, okay, Astralis won't have much money for a utility. So what we'll do is we'll run sort of a half set piece and suggest that we're going for it, use a delay, and then force Astralis to use all their counter grenades, then go in with more smokes. But it looks like they're just going to go in off the initial smoke grenades. That's a failed pop flash, but that should be okay anyway. There's no one in the forklift position. Chris will be the one in there, and he'll be wrapping around. So Zipex to the peak, though, doing good damage. The bomb site's taken, but it's not without its cost.
Zipex with 2 kills, did very well in that situation. Hard decisions whether to go through the smoke or stay behind it, try and escape into it. Glaive just around the corner now, not finding Stiko before Stiko starts firing shots. 2 versus 3, Kiabi picked off in a short position, leaving Dupree by the car. 1 versus 3, have to hold on to what he can. Being hunted, of course, by Mousesports. Trying to hide in Z connector, but Mousesports are bloodthirsty and they'll get what they want. A 4th round by elimination.
So the 4-0. Just another anti-eco to deal with, and Astralis, they won't invest too much into this round. Their loss bonus is still accruing, and so they want to have enough left over for the full buy in round number 6. So we should see from Mousesports some fast plays potentially after an initial passive opening. That tends to be the case these days. It's almost like a gentleman's agreement sometimes that just nobody pushes in the first 15 seconds or so. Mousesports with quick control of A main, which is quite cool to see. Quickly controlling the position which they know they'll need for later in the round when they actually decide to make the commitments. And again, we see a similar spot where Astralis do have a lot of players on the A-bomb side, but there's so much utility from Mousesports that they can just go in regardless.
It's important to note that Oscar and Rops sit next to each other on the Mousesports lineup, because we so commonly see them working together, more so on the CT side perhaps. We can look for that later on in the second half. Oh, speaking of people, it's time for GoTV picks for Cash. Do you have a preference? I mean, for me, I have to pick Dupree herein, because presuming he picks up an AWP next round, quite curious to see what he has to do with it on the CT side here for Astralis.
Well, it's going to be finally a move from Mousesports in towards this B-bomb side. That's where they decided to go. Chris with the first opening, Glaive on the bomb site looking to cause some problems. There's no flashbang from a teammate or anything like that available to him. He's just got to get a good peek, and that is certainly a good peek. Very clean from Glaive. He has a chance to get even more damage here. Another 1v1. Sunny wins it out, though, as the rest of Mousesports barrel into the B-bomb site, and they start to clean up these pistoling players, but additional damage done as Tico on 2 HP. So I don't even know how, but Astralis have made this round look kind of messy for Mousesports.
Specs had to go to CT spawn to pick up a USP. I think he needed bullets. Astralis, masters of time, making it very difficult for Mousesports to even plant the bomb. Tico's got to be careful. All of 2 HP trying to reposition through the smoke. There was a gap, but he was not spotted. So for GoTV, in addition to dupreeh, I've got to say Rops, we've seen amazing things from him, but we'll come back to that. Zipex trying to do more damage, and indeed, Tico is vulnerable, but Rops will finish things off. There's a 5th round on the board for Mousesports. So my GoTV picks are Rops on both sides, and dupreeh, if he has an AWP. There it is, the sniper rifle has been picked up, but wait, there's more.
That's pretty cool. Both Device and dupreeh going for it. I wonder if Device is motivated by a spawner, if they just want to kick off the double op setup immediately. Oscar as well, picking up an AWP, and Oscar's a player that's hard to contend with when he's having a good day. So this will be an explosive situation potentially. dupreeh on the B-bomb site. Device on the quad position on A. dupreeh already taking some damage into checkers. So Rops will be the man sort of pressuring B and continuing to get information there. What's the play here from Mousesports? They've got mid control, or they're working on it at the very least. Well, that's the highway smoke. It's a really awesome smoke. This completely denies information from the CTs. They have no idea what's going on in middle now, if it's an A play coming or if it's a B split coming.
That smoke has to be perfect. Very easy to leave a gap by the wall towards Fork, which the CTs can peek through, and Zipex was having a look there, not sure if he saw anything, but here come numbers towards the B-bomb site. dupreeh ready for the first player, but has he got more? Glaive is there for support, missing the second shot, but Kiabi picking off Stico. The bomb's on the floor now, and the kills are raining in for Mousesports. Not a good start for dupreeh on the AWP. Zipex and Device remain outside the B-bomb site. Device looking for some higher play. Zipex making a play inside, but completely blind. Will take some damage, somehow still alive. Oscar getting shot, but no kill for the CTs, and they really need a kill quickly as the bomb gets planted. Seems they will back off after those shots yielded something, but not enough.
Yeah, and dupreeh's not going to be happy with that one. He had some good chances at the frags there. It can be a very hard balance to strike. You don't want to peak too much or expose yourself for too much time, so you have to take those super fast shots that we saw him attempting. And it can be difficult to get consistency with it. He's only good for the one. So Mousesports off to an incredibly good start on their T side. So far, so good. You know, I love the detail in this round that we just saw, you know, in taking away all the information from the CTs. And they effectively delayed rotation with that highway smoke. That was the purpose of it. And attacking the bomb site was tough, but they managed to make it work.
They had good positions. There was almost nowhere for Astralis to stand with cover on the B-bomb site, apart from default, and then you're just going to get pinched even worse. So Mousesports used their personnel well, one person wide to expose the headshot position to be a lot more than a headshot, and then a person on the left-hand side as well, forced Astralis out into the open. But they're on the buy once again, and seems Device will be the single sniper for this round, and that's a fair decision, all things considered. dupreeh had a lot of opportunities there, didn't quite hit the mark. It can always change in the next round, but maybe some more warm-up is required.
So, words of encouragement from Zonic. I think that's is that the Danish version of Komienu? Komienu? That's the one. Come on, boys, let's go. 6-0 Mousesports, looking very strong indeed. Glaive on the MP9. Don't underestimate it. MP9 is pretty legit. Very high firepower. Oh, yeah. Sorry, fire rate.
He appears to be playing close mid, and you can use it there. You can definitely use it from this position, indeed, a fast fire rate, and you can get some moving accuracy as well. In addition to that, he's playing as awkward an angle as possible, and that does help his cause. It's a fair chance that if he kills somebody in the boost position, he will get a free gun out of it as well. So Astralis moves to a 1-3-1 setup at the 130 mark, but Zipex is going to go back and forth between mid and A. And Mousesports slowly continue their advance. Device holding an angle towards main. Pretty dependable sniper, but he's been out of action for a while, Device, so he may have an opportunity to show us how on point he is at the moment.
Right now, Mousesports just been making a really slow approach towards the A site as far as their positioning goes, but they haven't really made much noise on the map at all. So this is a different approach, very, very different pace from their previous gun versus gun round. And perhaps they're using that to switch up a pace to throw off Astralis and Astralis' understanding of how to rotate in time. But that said, there's 4 players ready for A, but look at this. It's all a bait right now because Rox was holding onto the B storage area as the lurker. And they are very sold here. Stiko gets absolutely nothing, but now they know that they can run into the B bomb site. Is Smoke going to come in time? No, not quite. Dupree gets himself a kill there right before the smoke blooms, and that could be the difference maker. We'll have to see, but Oscar's in position as well.
There's a CT pushing the smoke, though, on the low ground. Note they went back. Otherwise, Oscar might have been exposed, but many angles for the CTs to cover. What's the retake like? Surely Astralis have something prepared. 4 versus 3. 1 player on the site. Sonny with the flank taking Zipex down, and Device goes down soon after. Will Oscar re-aggress? Or will he allow his teammate on the site to have a look first? Oscar on the low ground. Things getting more difficult for Astralis, and looks like they have to back away once again. 0-4-7. And that was a fantastic fake from Mousesports.
Oh, yeah.
They had 3 smokes down on the A site as only Stiko was pushing, but we've seen some fakes in the last week on different maps and different teams where they'll throw a grenade and not invest anybody into the fake itself, but Stiko commits. He dies for the cause on the A bomb site. He keeps everybody entertained, and the rotation is a long one.
And this kill and then the reposition from Oscar was so cool that he was very far back then, and he pushes all the way forwards, crouch peeks, and then we could see from the perspective of Heaven, he was completely invisible to the Heaven player. So, and he could take the peek into CT. So that was just so awesome from Oscar, just the way that he uses repositioning, how well he understands the angles in that spot. But indeed, we've seen some great T rounds here from Mousesports so far. And actually, Astralis were the ones who decided to start on the CT side. So,
for me, Oscar is the chocolate gâteau of Counter-Strike.
Would you want to explain what that means?
It's very enjoyable to consume his frags, Dan. Just love to watch him go.
All right. Okay. Well, Sonny, he might have some interesting times ahead. Astralis making a play. This is a smart thing to do. Astralis usually on their CT side very, very strong. And it typically used to be because their ability to actually take away map control is very, very good. But as we can see, Sonny seemed to be ready for it. Takes out Device. And Stiko, he may be able to make a play here through the door because they could have the information that he could have a nice flank.
Stiko's lining up to throw the quad smoke. Normally when you position like that, you open a door. In the box outside, there is an arrow, tip of the arrow. You throw a smoke grenade, which he has done. There's a quad smoke. But what will the CTs make of this? Zipex is already in main, which he has smoked off. Stiko looking for a flank. He is sandwiched between 2 players. He doesn't want to become the burger meat. There's Zipex taken down, but there's Kiabi to trade. In the meanwhile, Mousesports moving towards the B bomb site. This time Dupree delivers a kill, but he's on fire. He's going to get barbecued. Maybe he's the meat after all. 2-on-2 Glaive on the site, not for long though. Kiabi now, 1 versus 2, coming in from the vent position. He's surely been heard now, stomping through the vents. Robs are given 1 versus 1, and Kiabi will win. Oscar now, full health, Molotov down. Kiabi, his options are limited. That flashbang's absolutely perfect. Does Oscar know where he is? It seems he does. 3-0 comes in for Kiabi, but Oscar is ready for it. And that is a release of energy from Chris J, screaming across the studio.
That's a really hard peek in Kiabi's position. Like, Oscar gets a very good angle to have very good amount of time to see him coming and just easily take him down. So Oscar playing it really well, as you said, perfect flashbang. Really, really cool to see how Mousesports are sort of going the extra mile in a lot of their plays. Obviously, Astralis tried to mix things up there and tried to throw off Mousesports' mid-round calls, basically, by pushing A main, taking that portion of the map away and trying to thwart that mid-game, but Mousesports sort of adjusted to it on the fly and still turned it into somewhat of a fake onto the A site, which was awesome to see.
One thing I forgot to mention earlier, just a small note, all of the gaming chairs here by default have the armrests on them, but Astralis got theirs removed before the match started. bit more freedom. Depends on your, well, how you use your arms, I suppose. I mean, it reminded me of fighting games because you don't want to chair with arms on when you're trying to use the joystick. Obviously, this isn't quite the same, but comfort is important. So, had a man on the stage pulling off the arm rests. They are arm restless, no rest for their arms. Maybe they need waking up still, as they are yet to win a round versus Mousesports, who are 8 for the good. Astralis low on utility, big on aggression in this one. They've been waiting for Crochet, trying not to shoot his teammate in the head. And Glaive will finish him off instead.
Yeah, and it's incredible. They had a really good read. Like, to have 2 players there for a bait setup. Obviously, the execution wasn't perfect as Chris peeked directly behind his teammate, which is not ideal, but still, they get the trade out. And that's really what you want. And on the T side, going 1-for-1 like that is fantastic, even though Chris did get shot down to 35 health. And if we look at Astralis, they have 0 utility. They have a decoy. That doesn't even count. And so Astralis are in a position where they need to make a really big gamble because of that lack of utility. And that gamble is to stack 3 players to a bomb site. And that's probably the best gamble, because taking an aggression is very hard, which is normally what you would see. And the reason why in this case it's harder is because they have no utility. There's no flashes you can throw to get potentially that first advantage moving into B storage or A main. So they've actually opted to just hold 2 to a bomb site. So this is all going to come down to the bomb just hitting the shots.
Now it's Rops' turn to sell a fake, and indeed, with 2 people already on the B bomb site, Glaive is making his way in, but surely they can identify something from the number. And Rops taken down immediately, and the rotation's coming in. The win comes fast enough. Dupree forced away by Molotov again, doesn't want to burn, but he will die. Puncture holes from bullets. 3 versus 2, make it 2 on 2. Sonny with some grenades to deploy. Got to hold the angle though, while his teammate plants the bomb.
Looking really good here for Mousesports so far, but it's not over just yet. Zipex and Glaive make their way in together, but it's actually a slight gap here that gives Glaive just enough to work with to get some damage, but Oscar still anticipation. At the top of the ladder, he'll find a frag as Zipex is thrown off a bit. Glaive now looking to make his way forwards, but Sonny's directly above him. Surely there is nothing that Glaive can do, and indeed, Sonny from above will finish the round. Another one going to Mousesports. That is ridiculous. 9-0. And it's not just they're having a good game. It's like they're executing in a fantastic game plan.
So that is the lack of armrests, I think, for both teams, actually. Are you an armrest man, Dan?
I prefer, when I'm actually playing video games competitively, I prefer them off as well.
Marvelous. 9-0. Not marvelous for Astralis, but fantastic for Mousesports, who continue, or look to continue their charge. And their charge looks likely in this round to continue because it's a force buy or a half buy from Astralis. Pistols and Kevlar, as you can afford yourself when you've got maximum loss bonus. Oscar needing 2 ladders to get up onto the boost position. Anti-eco time for Mousesports. Again, there's that short smoke. Trying to isolate some plays, and here come the Molotovs. Astralis won't be a fan of KBBQ after this game.
Take it. Oh, headshot coming in there from Chris, but trading just as quickly, but it is looking very good for Mousesports. They've got great positions, vantage points on the A side to defend from. The thing to potentially worry about for them, really, I suppose, could be Dupree coming in from the door position, but they have enough players to be able to trade out. Tegs forced into the open, that's perfect timing. Every player that goes down that could create distraction means that Dupree's play becomes harder to actually, well, do anything with. And that is now the case, as we can see. And Glaive, sort of going for a flank as well, will be spotted out. Mousesports are completely safe here. There it is. Sonny finishes off Glaive. They know where Dupree is. James, are they going to go all the way? Do you think Mousesports can go all the way here and not drop a single round?
They can, absolutely. At this point, they can. Because how many rounds can you say Astralis have been even been close to winning? I don't know.
And this is another reason why they're my dark horse pick and why I've put a lot of focus on them recently. It's because it's not just the fact that they have sort of a very complete team from the skill sets of every individual, but they also have a really good game plan that we've been seeing, and they've been executing it really well. And it sort of works with their style as well. Like, Oscar seems very comfortable on this team, and that's really important. It's the first team I think I've seen Oscar on where he feels very comfortable within his whatever his crazy type of role.
The chocolate gâteau of Counter-Strike. I think Mousesports have averaged a rough average of about 3 people alive at the end of each round. There have been some rounds of 2, one round of 1. but some with 5, etc. So that doesn't bode well for Astralis. Like, that's why I say that the rounds are being won with some comfort, which is why the 16-0 is possible, because Astralis are not getting enough done. I mean, look at the kills. With round 10, no one's got more than 5 kills on Astralis.
That's actually insane, yeah. That's kind of nuts. And look at Csgo again. This is kind of what he does, and what you like your lurkers to do, being able to make solo plays towards the B site, take away checkers. This is so painful. Oh, that's big though. Kirby coming in from the bench from mid. Doesn't like what he sees, but cannot eliminate the presence. Pulling out the deagle is Oscar. And he's got reinforcements from Stuco here. Lots of attention brought back towards B, towards B as far as Mousesports are concerned. And how much do Astralis read into it? Having Device in this position allows them to cheat a player towards B.
That was a nice smoke from Zipex, giving himself some breathing space, gave him room to move into like he wanted to. Instant trade, is that enough by Device? Dupree by the forklift position, and he's in a strong position. Mousesports don't necessarily have the personnel to try and clean it out properly. But what are they doing? The bomb's rotating out of main once again. Oscar's ridiculous with these close range shots. Has he spotted Zipex now? The last man standing. 30 seconds remain. Zipex towards A. There's time to run towards B, but Stika's going to go for it. Another wipeout round for Mousesports. Looked tough at the beginning, but they prevail. A lot of it because of Mr. Chocolate Gateau over there. I mean, he had 2 ridiculous frags, one with a deagle at close range, and then an AWP swipe.
You just never expect it. I love seeing this from the other person's perspective first, because you see how much advantage they have, and then as a player, like, your expectation is, I'm guaranteed this frag. I'm 100% getting this frag, and then you see them spin around and just hit you in the face with a shot, and you're just like, I don't understand how that's even possible, but that has Oscar written all over it. And now it's back to the CZ armor here for Astralis as they try desperately to scrap together at least a round on the board in this otherwise very disastrous half for themselves. Finding a forward position, but Rop's doing his thing at B. Doesn't seem like there's a way in so far for Astralis.
Trying to get the CZs to work. Kiabi looking for something in that smoke, but nothing doing. Nobody in the B-bomb site for Astralis at present, although Glaive is around the vent area, so he has a lot of information. Device having a look through Squeaky, making his way back to A side. Mousesports still taking it slow, thinning the numbers out bit by bit. There's more than a minute on the clock, so they've got time to do this. No need to rush. And now they will come together, 5 versus 3, and play the overwhelming numbers game.
Yeah, and they've been so safe every time they've done stuff like this. You know, we see the right, use of grenades. They've been having good spacing between each player so they can trade effectively. Really eliminating any possibility that Astralis can start to snowball them. And it is a pretty good cleanup here. Only Glaive to make a quick kill. They know his position now. And there it is. Oscar very quickly on top of the red container. He wants that one. He's hungry. Gets himself number 3. And 12 rounds for Mousesports. 3 away from a 15-0 half. That is ridiculous against Astralis. That is just phenomenal.
Dupree and Device once again will be on the double snipers. Device's spawn is terrible. Dupree's spawn is okay. It's not even really average, but we'll see what they're able to do. Device is going to be AWP, no grenades, which isn't the worst thing in the world. And there's a timeout from Astralis to discuss what they might want to do. It's Kiabi who has the forwardmost spawn. He could make a play for some aggression, perhaps towards A. But time will tell. There's a timeout running out. And now we will soon be into the round. 12-0 for Mousesports. This is not what they could be expecting. Sonic has been vocal this entire time, keeping his team's spirits up. He knows what they're capable of, and he will remind them every round.
I mean, all Astralis need is 3 rounds. I mean, then they can absolutely mount a comeback. It's one of the teams with the most class in the world and experience as well. I think it's always going to be a slow start for them, having switched up the roles and so on, having Device come back after a time away. I think it was always going to be a slow start for them. Let's see if they can recover here. There we go. There's a frag from Dupree. Puts one on the board. That's in fact 2 from Dupree so far. So now Mousesports are in desperate times, and it's going to take something a bit special from them to come back from this disadvantage. Do they really want to test middle? Do they really want to do it? Because we have a lot of presence here still. Kirby is looking for even more. And Kirby's going to find something. Another kill for him, or rather for his side. First one for him. as Rops looks for it. A potential push, but now they're down 2 against 5. Perhaps the dream of 15-0 is over, but there is still a dream of damage. That's what Oscar's all about.
He's walking into an angle though. Although when has that really mattered? Do some damage to Device. Can Rops capitalize on that? Picking up an AWP of his own. He's low damage, presence of mind to try and avoid a duel. But he must be quick. Additional damage doesn't look likely. Kiabi's in a strong position. Ooh, he's found a gap. But he wasn't prepared for Kiabi. You can hear Zonic again. There's the first round. There's only 2 rounds to fight for here in this half. Let's see how much more they can do.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough effort, but I think they have gained a little bit of extra added confidence from that last one. Dupree kicked it off really well, and sometimes that's all it takes. Just having one player on the team, just having an insane round to bring you back. And Astralis, they have the full setup. They could possibly want all the utility, all the guns, and they went to the double up straight away when they first had money to do so. So it does seem like that's the sort of setup they want to be running the most rounds with. But one thing about that as well is that Mousesports have been pretty good at using their utility to take bomb sites and then force those ops into retake scenarios where they are really very weak in comparison to holding some of the defensive lines.
Ooh, would you look at this? After a Mousesports timeout, following their first loss in this round, in this game, sorry, Oscar and Chris J will wield the sniper rifles for the T side. It looks like we are heading towards FPL mode for Mousesports. Oscar looking to walk into an AWPer and win the duel. Device is playing from the site. Some early grenades from him. In the meantime, Chris J is looking towards Squeaky. So, Mousesports are looking for all this aggression. Look at that angle from Sonny. I've never seen somebody look for a boost from that position before. Normally people stand behind the truck. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm stealing that. That was really good. Oh man. Sonny's been getting all kinds of cheeky kills actually this game. So he's been doing really well from that perspective. Now again, you got that 5 versus 4. This is one of those spots where you have a protocol for this. When you're Mousesports, you're like, all right, we got the 5v4 early on. That's been offered up to us in some respect. Now, how do we want to best abuse this? And you can start to sort of theorize, okay, what is the most likely rotations the CTs will make after that? On cash, the most expected play is that the CTs will push A main as 2, or they'll push B storage as 2 to try to get some information to make up for the fact that they're lacking a man. Astralis have done neither. They're just holding two very passive positions.
Oscar looking the sun with his naked eye, looking at the sun. I can speak English on occasion. Glaive and Device. We've maybe the similar setup we've seen before from them in the B bomb site. Glaive around headshot, but will they be ready for it this time? Oscar looking for someone, and he finds Device on the site. He can use these boxes to give himself 1 versus 1. There is a Molotov for Csgo. There's a flashbang as well for the CT side. Buying time now, and Dupree comes in to pick up a player. A great snap from Device, and they might just have a second round here.
That's looking very tight here, and there's no time to get deep plants, so they've done it. Device did a heroic job there, holding off. Oh my god, that exchange. Zonic is just going absolutely nuts, absolutely wild there. Good opener from Oscar, but it's really these shots from Device, and he waited so long for the repeats there, really forced, waited for that flashbang from a teammate, then managed to make himself very useful on that bomb site. Second round for Astralis. James, it's so insane how hard Astralis are having to work for every round just to have a chance to have 3.
That play from Dupree was nuts through the flames. And it's so important for Zonic to keep his team's adrenaline up, keep them energized when they're having a depressing half. You almost wouldn't feel that way considering how much he's screaming every time they get an important frag. Now it's time for them to win their 3rd and final round of the half. There's aggressive positions in B. Will Kiabi be checked for? It will be, but they won't win the duel, Mousesports. Trying to escape the wrath of Oscar. Needs to avoid the grenade. Kiabi's going for it though, but they want to poke the bear in the eye. Or the chocolate gatto. Nobody left in the B bomb site, but the smoke is down and Mousesports may not commit. No rotation from Astralis just yet. In the meantime, Glaive has made a push through Squeaky. I don't know how much information he's got though.
Once again, Sunny just finding these beautiful off angles to get these surprise kills. And that's another one. Oscar also lends a hand, and now they can just barrel their way towards the A site to try to close down the final round. But it's Glaive between him and that bomb site. And will Glaive be able to make anything happen here? Once again, Sunny is just holding this angle. He spots Glaive, and again, just so many cheeky frags from the man. It is a beautiful half from Mousesports. Great individual plays, great team play, beautiful mid-round calls, and overall a great approach as a T side and fantastic detail adding into that.
That was a great call at the end of that round. Stiko moving up towards short. Oscar charging through B. Sorry, no, Stiko was with the bomb. It was Sunny going up short. Stiko was just in mid by the vent with the bomb, finding out which site is safe. Oscar finds B is clear. Stiko makes his way there, and Sunny gets the kill anyway. Great stuff, great presence of mind and focus from Mousesports, but will it be enough to take them over the line? They've most certainly given themselves a fantastic opportunity for a stonking score versus Astralis.
Yeah, they're really into the flow of things. And one thing we didn't really get to see much of from Mousesports is really anything but Mirage from the Challenger stage. There's so many Mirage matchups for them to play out, and so we were denied seeing them on Cash and some of the other maps. So it's good to see that they can play this just as well as we saw some of the games from them on Mirage. But now the sides are flipped. We have Astralis on that T side. If they can get off to a good pistol, we can absolutely expect them to do a lot of damage here, and as we'll see, Mousesports struggle for money. But that is the first step, and so they better have a pretty consistent approach here. And one thing you'd like to see from them too is just, regardless of the outcome of the round, creating a situation where they guarantee a bomb plant at the very least. Because with a bomb plant, even if they lose a round to the variance of headshots, they can buy something good on the second round.
Half-time discussion continues for both teams, mostly though from the Astralis side. They understand that it's really important. I think Glaive is just giving his team some specific instructions. You see he's got a notepad, the big black book, or medium size.
Someone screenshot that and enhance.
The medium size. Why did you say that? Don't do that. Medium size black book. Zipex and Glaive will be grenade men. So he's just reading. I mean, it might just be his favorite page from Harry Potter. It might have nothing to do with Counter-Strike at all.
It's just like a motivation strategy.
They were walking through the forest. And then blah, blah, blah. I don't know anything about Harry Potter at all. Right, the unpause has come in. What do Astralis have to offer with their grenades? Stiko will be the defused man with 2 flashbangs on the CT side. Rest of them on Kevlar. Time for Astralis to start racking up the frags now. Oscar leading the server with 22 kills. He's 22 for 4.
It's mental, isn't it? I feel like if you're on Mousesports, you go for like a really big risk, like 3 pushing through B storage, or just stacking the A side, something really ridiculous. But they're just going to play it out standard, which is fine. Also getting the info. This is actually really important because that tells them that they can rotate now, and also they can stand a chance to get frags as they push with the choke points instead of playing pure retake, which doesn't often go very well for the CTs. Good approach. Can they get the frags? Very awkward for Sunny. Oscar's still in there though, looking for his kills, and somehow they absolutely just clear everything up. Astralis get nothing.
I don't know how, was it Stiko who's completely blind and facing 2 people, was just alive, standing there for ages somehow. Just standing there blind. I don't know how he didn't die faster, but he bought time for his team. Why are you so excited?
Oh no, I mean, because you pointed out Oscar's score before, but now it's like 24-4, and it's just so insane. I can't believe it. What a ratio. 24-4.
Yeah, we'll see if it ends that way. Astralis, the worst has happened. They haven't won either pistol rounds. They are 2 rounds away from death, from destruction, from doom. Christian, caught in the middle of nowhere. Maybe a bit too excited with the pistol round win. Gives Astralis an early frag.
A kill on Oscar should be worth like $5,000 at this point or something, just to make it fair. And Stiko with a forward position. This is really, really cool from Stiko because he can give his team all the info. Get some free kills here. Ooh, that is just brutal. Stiko just doing his best Hut G impression, although Hut G was a Mac 10 god. Maybe Stiko is the impression. Ooh, Device survives, but not for too long. 15-2 is the score for Mousesports.
Splinters sliding down the top. I guess top doesn't give you splinters. Well, that's 13 match points for Mousesports then, and maybe Oscar will finish with a ridiculous scoreline after all, but that was Some nice aim there from Stico. And once again, a force buy from Astralis. CZs, a Deagle with Dupree. We know what he can do with a Deagle, but it might need a miracle on top of that, the way things are going. At best, 9 frags on Kjabi for Astralis. Not a good situation. That's a monstrous grenade, and that might put a very quick end to things. I think that's 1 HP, none HP now. 1 by 1, they are into the deep grinder. They will be converted into spam, unless Vice can do something about this. Needed a second kill, chose to back out instead. Oscar in mid, Rops outside B. Astralis with the bomb, but Oscar might have some sound cues.
Yeah, pretty smart device, actually trying to use those sound cues as a bait. Maybe get himself a kill in mid, and then a weapon would be fantastic. But we can see the issue here is that there's no crossing potential for Zipex. So it's very smart of Astralis to use the time that they have, but this play from Rops, man, going into T-spawn, is very, very deadly. Has a really sick off angle, and that should be the one play to shut down the round. Zipex is on 20 points of health. A well-placed bullet, and he's done for, and there it is, Oscar. Who better to finish it off? 16-2, what an absolutely crushing performance from Mousesports.
Welcome to the ELEAGUE Major. That is the message from Mousesports to Astralis. A one-sided match of cash. Not the start Astralis wanted, but it's over now. It's history. They'll have to put it behind them and focus on tomorrow. Great start for Mousesports in this week of Counter-Strike.
Absolutely, a 26-for-4 showing from Oscar. That's the form you want to see him in, and I can't wait to see what the analysts made of this, because this definitely defies many predictions. We'll have more from them after the break.